years of combined experience. Whether by drafting estate planning documents or preventing families from going broke in a nursing home, we have a proven track record of assisting clients with their immediate and long-term.
I know. You could give her.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Jared.
Commissioner Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Velarde,
Here.
Vice Chair Long,
Here.
President Ganant,
Here.
Commissioner Kepler.
Here.
All in attendance.
Thank you. For announcements, we held an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel and real estate. We have public comment. It's limited to 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and if you're a resident, and it's on any topic, either on the agenda or whatever's on your mind. Cheryl.
Cheryl Parks, 150 Ruby Lane. I've been a taxpayer for 39 years. I sent everybody pictures of my house with all the ice. Today, I had the guy that comes out. He used to work for my husband who did commercial steel building construction. And he said that my whole roof, the seams are opening up and the panels are ready to come down. So my whole roof, you stand on my back deck, it's like it's raining because all the heat's going out. And he said another blast, and he said the whole thing's. Now, we were on that roof over the summer power wash, and it was perfectly fine. I've had no trouble with it. It's about 17 years old. It's a standing seam steel roof. On Friday the 16th, when the first blast occurred, with no warning, which is against state laws, they're supposed to give you warning. The 16th and the 23rd they both blasted. We had no warning whatsoever. I don't know. They're saying they're sending off horns, but we were supposed to have to know when the day was. And that first day, my house shook. It knocked pictures down, and the whole house shook. With my windows shook in the thing all the way down to the foundation. The only blast we had the 29th last week, which Jared did send us a notice. It's a Swedish welcome star that my husband and I got the first Christmas we had, which hangs in my bow window in the living room every winter. When that blast went off, that crashed down and broke into 4 pieces. So, but now I have my roof. I don't even know what to say because I don't even know what to do. I called my insurance company, but it shouldn't even be on me for the insurance company because if the damage is called, I don't even know who to call.
So you're thinking it's from the blast. So John or Leo, do you know who they would call? Who she would call?
Yeah, it would be the company that issued the letter indicating that they were going to blast. Because they're the ones, I assume, Cheryl, you had a pre-blast survey done?
Yes.
I would call them up immediately.
But I don't have, the guy that came was like a snake oil salesman. He never gave me a card. He wanted to come in my house. He had no insurance. He had no proof of insurance. He showed up at my house and took a water sample without even telling me he was there. And I don't even know who to call because he didn't leave any information.
Jared, do you have that information that you could give Cheryl?
Yeah, I'll get it sent out.
Jared will get that.
But if they have another blast right now, I'm not going to have a place to live.
Cheryl, you've called your insurance?
I did this morning. They're going to
Let somebody out. They will also make a determination as to what they believe the cause was. And even if they wind up paying for the repairs, they will go after the blasting company if they believe.
All right. Well, they have 24 hours to get an adjuster. So I reported
Yeah.
it this morning.
Okay.
So then the adjuster is supposed to get back to me tomorrow.
Okay.
But right now, I'm losing all the heat out of my house and it's awful.
Well, depending on your policy, they may even put you up in a hotel for a couple of days if necessary.
I don't want to go to a hotel. I want to be in my house.
I understand. I do understand.
This is just so stressful. But again, 2 blastings they did without even telling anybody. And that's against the state law. If we're in the blasting zone, they're supposed to be notifying us and they didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just really upset.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
Hi, this is Alice White, resident.
Oh, hang on. We had somebody in the audience. Hold on.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Gallagher. I am the Executive Director of the Poconos VRO. I am not a resident of the township. I live in Shawneetown, Delaware. And I'm here today to read a letter that was delivered to the township commissioners this week. We believe that it's very important. The letter is related to the TDU fee increase that was implemented in August. We believe it's important that the community understands the implications of that decision, and also the decision that rests with this board to possibly reverse that decision. The letter reads, I write on behalf of the interests of short-term rental owners and operators and allied businesses as it relates to the township's resolution number 2025-29, amending the township's ordinance section 3027. This August 18th, 2025 resolution caused the township's TDU license fee to increase from $500 to $2,500 annually. This is a five-fold increase in the TDU fee, and it is unlawful. The law of the Commonwealth is clear. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court in Mastrangelo versus Bucky defined a license fee as follows. A license fee is a sum assessed for the granting of a privilege. In most instances, where a license is granted, the city invariably incurs expense, such as the cost of registration and inspection. It is only proper that one who seeks and receives a license should bear the expense. To defray the cost of a license, a fee is charged to the licensee. However, this fee must be commensurate with the expense incurred by the city in connection with the issuance and supervision of the license or privilege. Mastrangelo goes on to say that further, a license fee is distinguishable from a tax, which is a revenue-producing measure characterized by the production of a high proportion of income relative to the costs of collection and supervision. Talley v. Commonwealth states that a municipality cannot impose a tax upon a business under the guise of exercising its police power, and therefore a license fee will be struck down if its amount is grossly disproportionate to the sum required to pay the cost of the due regulation of the business. The township's TDU fee increase made in the amendment must be set aside. Further amounts paid are being unlawfully collected by the township, and disgorgement must be had. This unlawful TDU fee is merely a strong-arm tactic to squelch out short-term rental operations within the township while increasing township revenue. It is pretextual and violative of due process rights intended only to discourage STRs. It is not a permissible fee. It is a coercive, unlawful tax generating proportionately significant surplus revenue. Demand is made that the TDU fee amendment increased to $2,500 be immediately repealed and the former fee of $500 be reinstated. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Other public comment?
Where's the picture?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is Alice White. Will I be able to speak now?
Sure. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I am a resident. I'm wanted to know if anybody has submitted anything to the township on the Butts Miller property. It's going through an estate sale. The reason for my inquiry is there was a truck parked on the side street from my house. Someone was just sitting in it with the flashers on. I took a screenshot of the company name on the truck as well as the QR code. The company information came back as Centerline. The QR code came back with additional information indicating wireless, wireline, fiber, data center, EV charging. Several of the neighbors are concerned with this information, being that we are in a small development and building a data center does not make any sense. So I was just wondering if anybody has approached the township for any further building or anything.
Jared, do you know?
The property is currently under contract, and the potential buyer is a landscaper. But there have been no land development plans or anything submitted at this time.
I believe there is a cell tower somewhere on the landfill.
There is, yeah, that's an SBA tower, but there's been no amendments or any kind of change of use for that tower property.
Yeah, that tower is down along, right off 611. It's not by any of our homes. It's by the old, crane business that used to be there in front of the lake. So, all right, I'll just keep my eye out to see if any other activity, should happen. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Online? Oh,
Rebecca Smith, Pocono Township. I reside on Kevin's Lane in Tannersville. I'm going to be speaking regarding the Core 5. They have blasted 3 times without any warning. The second blast, I thought my house was going to come down on my head as I sat in my living room. This last blast, again with no warning, it actually tripped the breaker to my well. Did not realize what had happened. In the meantime, my pipes froze. They burst. I had to rip out the sheetrock in my home. I ran out of fuel, trying to raise the fuel to try and get the pipes warmed up. All of this is happening with no warning. I'm curious as to whether they have to put up some type of a retaining wall. They were nice enough to leave us 3 trees. I feel our properties are just rolling in together. I don't know if they have to put up a retaining wall, but the wind damage that is coming to the back of my property is horrendous. I felt like Dorothy with Toto trying to walk my dog. I had 2 tree limbs fall and hit me. I turn around, I see my rugs flying through the air. My grill gazebo got tossed through the air like doll furniture and smashed up against my house. I've had to install, well, I hang a heavy blanket over my patio window. Feels like I have central air now. So I'm just curious if were they given a waiver, or do they have to put up some type of a barrier wall, at least where the residential houses are on their parcel? My other main concern with this is I see that they have come through 2 of the properties on Kevin's Lane with their runoff, whatever ordeal. The township, I receive a lot of the flooding from the runoff from that property. The township has already tried to fix this problem by putting in their own little thing. And the covert thing goes under Kevin's Lane and then out to Route 80 because it was flowing straight across and into 80. At which time, now I see they just have connected it, that it just flows in. I love Pocono Township maintenance guys. They are amazing. They are right there when a call is placed. But I've watched these guys try to fix this repeatedly in just 1 week worth of a rainstorm. They've had to come back 3 different times. It's washed out their work. I cannot see how they can hook up to something that is already failing, and it's failing on my property. So I'm wondering, I have made calls. They said they would send somebody out to look at this. But since us residents don't seem to be notified of anything, I'm wondering, do you have any insight? And is anything going to be done about this?
thank you. We're going to try to get you an answer here. You can get a phone number from Jared, and have we inspected that? Are we supposed to inspect the runoff? From the Core 5 property down through Kevin's Lane?
I wasn't asked to inspect that. I don't know that anything's occurred that would change the one. I don't know if that's to change it. Maybe excavation, grading, that's that. would have the potential to change.
John, can you turn your microphone on?
Grading would change runoff characteristics, and yes, that should be observed, but I believe, unless I'm misinformed, they're only blasting for the utility construction, which really shouldn't affect the runoff.
I don't know if you could reach out, Jared, to them and see why. I mean, if they're not getting warnings, we were told they were going to get warnings, sirens were going to go off, 3 blasts.
We did speak with the superintendent and they state that they are following all requirements. It's not a siren, it's an air horn. Same thing, it was on our township Facebook. 3 short blasts prior to, the actual blast, and then 1 long blast after the site is cleared.
It's never. They've never heard it, so can you double check?
And the project manager's phone number has a machine, does not get a response. Just saying, leave message if you don't think it's. It's against the.
John, do they have a state? Does the state have inspectors that observe those blasts?
No, I mean, they may, but they don't, it's not. They may do a spot inspection, but they don't have people out there every time somebody blasts.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the township is not allowed to regulate blasting. If you remember, we tried to create a blasting ordinance in 2018, and it was since repealed. Anything further than that, John, what would you do? Contact DEP?
I think we can contact the DEP, put them on notice that we're getting complaints of serious property damage and that no one is being notified of blasting. I believe the requirements are if they're blasting within 300 feet of an occupied residence, they must be notified. I'll make a note to contact DEP tomorrow.
Yeah, they're supposed to blast tomorrow between 10 and 2. So
Thursday.
It'd be nice if we can either ask them to, do the air horn closer to the residences or give us a more specific time so that people know when it's going to happen. I mean,
They blast again, I'm not gonna have them.
Then they need to go out and inspect Cheryl's house then. Can we make that call? Or
I'll make the call first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. Getting DEP to act quickly is difficult, but I will contact the engineer for Core 5 to try to get a hold of somebody that I can speak to that might have some influence over the blasting and see what I can do that way. I'll make that a priority first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? We're gonna move on to our presentation and I'll turn it over to Jim.
Okay.
Yep.
Good evening, and I'd like to call to the podium Dustin Rentschler and Daniel Campagna. These are our 2 newest officers. They come to us with several years' experience from Pocono Mountain Regional Police Department. I'd also like to have District Magistrate Daniel Kresge join us and all the officers in the department. If you could please surround us, please. Thank you all for coming. We're going to do our traditional swear-in ceremony. Go ahead.
Raise your right hand. State your name.
Daniel Campagna.
Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will support, obey, and defend.
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution and the laws.
the Constitution and the laws
of the United States.
of the United States,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
And the municipality of the Township of Pocono.
and the municipality of the Township of Pocono,
That I will faithfully discharge.
that I will faithfully discharge
The duties of my office.
the duties of my office
As patrolman.
as patrolman
For the Pocono Township Police Department.
for the Pocono Township Police Department with fidelity,
That I will uphold.
that I will uphold,
Obey and enforce.
obey, and enforce
The law without consideration.
the law without consideration to a person's race, color, sex, or religious creed, sexual orientation, age, national origin, ancestry, or disability.
handicap, or
disability. I will obey the rules and regulations, policies and procedures governing sworn members of the Pocono Township Police Department. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my character, or my integrity, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
and
I will always uphold the laws
I will always uphold the laws
and ordinances
and
of the municipality I serve.
of the municipality I serve.
Thank you. Glad to have you.
Thank you, everyone.
You, Chief.
Thank you. We'd like to welcome the new officers and we look forward to working with you. We have a presentation from members first. Jared, where do you need the tripods? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Terry Delo. I'm with Integrated Consulting. I'm here tonight with Mike Martin from Members First to present and do an overview of our land development plan. This evening, we will only be requesting formally a recommendation on 6 waivers that we're requesting as part of the land development process. Our formal land development submission has been into the township. We have received engineering review comments and are ready to make a resubmission back. We just need a little bit of direction from the board in order to determine how we're going to proceed with our formal resubmission, addressing the township review comments as well as any county comments. So the first one is related to the maximum slope for a basin embankment. And actually, I take that back. I'm going to start over doing an overview of the project because I forgot that we have not been here. We've been to the Planning Commission numerous times, but have not been formally in front of you to do the presentation. So I will start with that. The site is located on the north side of the 611 and Bartonsville Avenue intersection. The proposed Wawa is directly across the street, across Bartonsville this way. There are 2 residential property or houses on the property currently, as well as some other existing garages and little outbuildings on the property. The project proposes to build a 2,900 or just shy of 3,000 square foot prototypical Members First building. It'll have the drive-through window as well as a drive-through in the back, a retaining wall on the back portion of the site, and then employee and staff parking around the front and side. One item you'll notice on the site plan, we have our driveway that's actually aligning with the Wawa across Bartonsville Avenue. And then there's a large riparian buffer that's a part of a stream delineation that was done by the Marriott project, which is on the other side of us. So this riparian buffer is something we have to avoid and stay out of in terms of the building location and the siting of our particular development. I'm going to switch this up. proposing, again, several waivers. The first one that
Hey,
we're,
Courtney,
yes,
Before
I'm
you
sorry.
get into the waivers,
Yeah.
can you just put the rendering up on the on the easel there so the board can see?
The rendering. Oh, you mean the elevation views? Sure, absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is the elevation view that we had submitted previously with our first submission of the members first and what the prototype will look like for the store. Again, Mike Martin's here if there's any members first specific comments or questions that you have, but this is the outside facade, the overall look of the property or the building, and oh my. Then this is some further elevation views. Showing some exterior components to the building itself with the roof lines and some more specific details. Is there anything on this you would want me to focus on or us to discuss?
So they could be familiarized with the project.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So the first waiver that we're mentioning is related to the basin slope embankments. We're requesting that just the slopes for the basin be allowed to be 3-to-1. Typically, there's a 4-to-1 or greater than 3-to-1 requirement. So we'd be looking at that request and waiver just for the basin slide slopes. The second one is related to the truck turning movements. The WB50 is a larger truck, more of a tractor trailer. Members First and banks don't typically see that type and that large of a vehicle. So we've provided the largest vehicle in the turning movements as part of the land development submission, which is like a box truck and office delivery of that nature. The third one is related to the steep slope disturbance. So this is a requirement that the maximum steep slopes, which is considered, I believe, 35% or greater, is 35% max. We are requesting actually 74% of steep slopes. The steep slope area that we're talking about is this little portion of the site. And the reason we're requesting 74% is such a small area of the site is located within these man-made steep slopes or non-man-made steep slopes. I apologize. We're talking about 3,300 square feet of actual steep slope disturbance. Again, 74%, but unfortunately, just due to the nature of the site, there's only a small area that actually is covered with those steep slopes. So you're talking about a 50 by 70 area, square foot area that we're looking for that requirement to be waived. The other one is the minimum planting islands that are required. So each store is required to provide planting islands in each of the 3 corners of the building. We're providing it in one of the 3. The other 2 are proposing ground cover, and we're going to move those 2 trees that are required to be in those planting islands off to the side. That will allow Members First, which is a bank, to have their typical security systems and not be not have the security cameras and things like that be blocked by any of the proposed trees that would be around the building. So it's a security feature for Members First to not have large trees out front that would block those security cameras. The next one is that waiver of street tree location. So there's a large right-of-way as well as a easement for sewer that runs along Route 611. So our request is that you allow us to provide the plantings that are required just further than 15 feet away from the ultimate right-of-way. And again, that reason is because you can see here, the purple line is the right-of-way line. The requirement is that you plant those trees within 15 feet of that. But unfortunately, the sewer easement extends much further. So we're just requesting that we be able to plant those trees further than 15 feet away from the right-of-way. Lastly, we are requesting relief of right-of-way buffer plantings, and the right-of-way buffer plantings that we're discussing are the ones here along Route 611. Security purposes for visibility from the road, as well as the fact that we have a large clear sight triangle and that utility easement that runs through the front of the property along 611 is the reason that we're requesting that relief. So we still need to maintain some visibility to the store, which has to be, again, situated toward the back of the site as it sits in relation to the intersection. And we're proposing that we provide more shrub plantings and lower ground cover plantings in lieu of those trees, just because we just don't have the room essentially within this section of the site. And again, riparian buffer through here to plant too much along that portion of the site. So that was a fast way of going through each of the waivers, but certainly can entertain any questions. Mike and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Does anybody have anything?
No, I'm good with all of these.
Just a point of order.
They're minor.
Just a quick point of order, Madam President. We'll have to vote on each
Right.
waiver, what it.
Yeah. Did you have something?
I mean, when we get to the waivers, I have issues
Okay.
with say my piece.
Well done. I guess I have some questions. I don't know if they're for you or our engineer. On the steep slope disturbance, I mean, 74%, I understand it's a small area, but we have 35% for a reason. I can see going above it a little bit, but it's almost, it's more than double that. And then when I looking at this, my understanding is this is 1.83 acres, right? Just a little under 2 acres. We wouldn't even let a house be built on there. So I'm just wondering if this property is too small for what they want to do, and that's why we're waiving all this.
Is it too small? I don't know. There is the large riparian area there that has to be protected. So that limits their ability to maneuver in that direction. As you go either to the north or east, there is quite a steep hillside there. And so it's not practical to dig into that too much, although they are digging into it somewhat and putting in a retaining wall. It's a judgment call on the board as to, you're not going to get a user that is going to be much smaller than a bank. So I would think that almost anybody would be faced with similar problems, maybe not the need for the security cameras as much as a bank, which is driving a couple of their waivers, but they would still have to observe the same natural resources that the bank is. Now, whether the disturbance being at 74%, that's probably twice what we permit. Is that what the ordinance intended to protect? Is the question that you really have to ask yourself. If it were a steep hillside there all the way to the east, and they were going into that 74%, clearly the ordinance did not contemplate that. This is a pocket of steep slopes with some shallower slope on one side and then above it. So it just happens to be steeper in that small area. So the question is it worth protecting? I don't think it's an engineering issue. I think it's a policy issue.
Well, the other thing, it's not just that, you're saying that like we couldn't build anything else there, but this is the site of the historic Bartonsville Post Office, which is still there. It is a shame that it's going to be torn down, to put in a bank instead, especially if we're going to have to give all these waivers in order for it to happen, potentially compromising the site in some way. I did want to ask you, John, regarding the shade trees, moving the shade trees. Now, my understanding is the reason we have the shade trees is to keep the pavement from baking, because that can, radiate heat into the surrounding area, and also for runoff. If you have, water running over hot pavement, that can, affect the watershed in the area. Do you anticipate, moving these shade trees to have any kind of impact on that?
I really don't believe so. I think, first of all, our ordinance does permit grouping trees as opposed to spacing them linearly along the road. The one other waiver that they're requesting is to actually replace some trees with shrubs, now that's a different question than.
Yeah, well, that's not what I was asking, just
Yeah.
about the shade trees.
I don't think that's going to have a significant difference one way or the other for that question.
And then the other thing I didn't see in here was in lieu of fees. Isn't this a land development plan?
Yeah, they would be subjected to in lieu fees. So
John has the calculation for that.
somewhere I have it. You're correct.
So they agreed to it, is what, so we don't need a waiver.
They're not asking for a waiver.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was in there.
Oh, yes, we are, the amount is $2,240.
Total,
Yeah.
not per tree.
No, per acre. It's $1,400 per acre. We got 1.6 acres disturbed area.
Okay. Yeah, we have no problem with the in lieu fee.
Okay. Okay, so,
I mean, I can speak to, the detention basin. I think that's something that we normally do and probably will be changing in our next ordinance rewrite. The WB 50 truck turning movements, I agree, you probably don't need that truck. You did get approval from the fire company that they could maneuver adequately throughout the site.
They did review the plan. Yes, that's correct.
To me, that would be the major concern with that. Steep slope, that's a decision as to how much you like them. And then the others, again, are plantings. I think they're agreeing to provide the number of plantings in terms of trees, with the exception of the buffer where they want to substitute shrubs and ground cover.
One thing I will mention is when we first received this project from Members First, we did rotate this building every which way possible to try to avoid the steep slopes, as well as to reduce. There's a retaining wall in the back that will help with that reduction of the steep slopes in order to get the drive-through around, as well as to meet the building setback requirements, which I'm not sure if you're able to see on this particular. It's probably going to fall on me again. This Bartonsville Avenue has a 75-foot front yard setback. So this line here, if you're able to see this, this is the very minimum location this building can sit on this site. So we're facing an issue with a 75-foot offset from the front, as well as from the Bartonsville Avenue side, because we're on a corner. And then we have the riparian buffer. We also have to manage stormwater. Stormwater naturally is flowing down to within this riparian buffer off the site and toward this wetland stream complex on the Marriott site. So when I tell you that, I don't say that lightly, that we literally twisted this thing and shifted it as much as we could to avoid that back corner. So yeah, the building setback, again, another, for being 75 feet off, is another complication.
okay. Then I'll make a motion to waive the maximum slope of basement embankments to 3:1.
Second.
Discussion? Any public comment? Online? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next one is for the truck turning movements. I'll make a motion that we waive section 390-29J1C and 390-31D2 for WB 50 truck turning movements. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Public comment? Anyone online? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The next one is for maximum steep slope disturbance. Do we have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Motion carried. And do we have a motion for the minimum parking planting island?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I don't think that we should waive these. I really think that it's important we try to maintain the shade trees over the pavement. We have a lot of new pavement in Pocono Township in the last few years, and I think trying to maintain the shade and prevent runoff, especially in the wetlands, from being overheated, can potentially harm the wildlife. I don't think that's a risk we should take.
Any other comments?
If I may on that one, just to clarify, I don't know if I need to or not. We're not asking for those to be waived in terms of the planting of them. It's just the location of which they're going to be. So instead of being here right by the building and potentially blocking the cameras, we're shifting those out to here. So we're still providing them around the pavement area, just not in the planting islands on either side of the building.
I see.
Just to
The one
clarify.
planting island is, kind of in the center of the pavement. It juts out where it would, have
In here.
for a greater portion of the day.
Sure.
Whereas if it's at the edge, it would only be, for a smaller portion of the day. I mean, that's my concern.
Sure. Understood.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried. I'll make a motion to waive the street tree location. Is there a second? Seconded by Mike. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And the final one, right-of-way buffer plantings. I'll make a motion that we, what are we doing here? We're waiving the requirement in the right-of-way buffer plantings. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
This is another one where I don't think that we should waive this. I mean, people come to the Poconos because they want to be in nature. It seems like we've been waiving buffer plantings all up and down 611, and people don't really feel like they're living in the Poconos anymore. Having those trees along 611, it's comforting to people, and it's part of what they moved out here for, to live in nature. I don't think that we should be continuing to waive these all along the main road, especially
But they're not
The sewers.
asking to not plant the trees.
No, yes, they are.
They're asking to plant them elsewhere.
No, that was the last waiver. They asked to move them
That's
back
this one
because
as
of the
well.
sewer. This one, they're asking to waive the trees and plant shrubs instead.
Yes, that is
Well,
technically correct. We're asking for relief to plant.
Okay, so it's
Some of them
shrubbery
required,
instead
but-
of a tree.
Part of this though is because of our sewer easement.
Yeah,
Right.
they can't be digging up our sewer.
I know, yeah. Well,
Plant trees.
I voted yes on that waiver. I agree that they should be moved back so that they're not right above the sewer. We don't want a tree falling over and pulling up the sewer lines, but if they're further back, they can still, they can still plant the trees. So people are, again, looking at trees rather than a bank.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hearings.
Okay. We have no hearings. Resolution. We have resolution 2026-09 LDP 1450 116 Hillard Lane easement.
I don't believe there's anyone here for this. Oh, are you? Okay. Yeah. What this involves is there was a previously approved 2-lot subdivision plan. And that was recorded with the driveway easement to the properties are stacked one behind the other. Plan was approved that way with a driveway easement along I'm going to call it the northerly property line to get back to the second lot. The applicant would like to realign that easement to go more through the center of the lot and make it a little bit more practical, actually move it away from the property line. At this point in time, no new grading or building is being contemplated. It's just the movement of an easement. So I don't believe it's any more complicated than that.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
Can I add something?
Sure.
To be crystal clear, like, there is plan in the future to put a house on the lot in the back, so I don't want anyone to think.
No, we understand that,
Okay.
or at least I do. Yeah, yeah. This is only to relocate how you get there.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2609.
Second.
Discussion? Any
This
public?
is right along Bulger's Run. Are we anticipating this causing any kind of runoff issues or anything into the stream?
Now, as I said, there's no grading complicated with this. This is just a check to change the record plan. Now, when they come in for the house that he spoke about, they will have to do a grading plan, stormwater management plan, which we will review at that time for any kind of related runoff and protection of the stream.
Okay. Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next is motion for Mountain Edge Townhouse. You want to explain that one to us, John?
Yeah.
Oh, they're here? Okay. Hi, Dan. Okay.
Didn't know if you wanted me to go through it or not. Well,
I'll set the stage. Again, this was a plan that was approved. When was it approved? Back in the 80s, as I recall.
Yeah, I think it was 86 or something.
Yeah. And most of the buildings in the plan have been built, except for two, I believe. There were 2 4-unit buildings. They now want to combine that into just one building, and they're going to reduce the total count by 1 unit, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was a total of 58 units that were originally approved, and now we're at 57 with the additional 8 units that's going in. It's just one building for 8 units. So it's all owned by an HOA. It's the old Ski-Side Village property. And they actually had been paying taxes on this footprint for how many years. So now they're just going to be building that townhouse unit. So of course, being that it went past the 5 years and everything for building, we had to go back through land development on it. So we had to do parking and stormwater for it too.
Yeah, they did have to do new stormwater as a result of this, even though their plan had been previously approved, but did go past the 5-year period. New regulations were in place, so we reviewed it against the new regulations, and they're proposing some new stormwater management as a result.
So you're looking for a sidewalk deferral and an open space waiver.
Yeah, so we had gone for other waivers, which the planning commission had approved or supported. We had 2 waivers that they couldn't act on and we had to come here for, and that was the open space requirement. It's like 65 acres, the overall property is, and it's all owned by the HOA. So all there is the individual owners have the individual basically footprint of their units. So everything else is, like I said, it's probably 80% of open space. So we were asking for a waiver on the open space requirement.
I think what we've been doing historically in the past, and this is something we're going to work on in our rewrite, but we've been charging open space, but at a discounted thing, right? I think the last one we did was like $425 a.
Yeah.
or However,
W-
unit,
w-
I guess. Right?
It was discounted when it was done on a commercial commercial apartment type complex. Everything else, yes, a single unit where that's not doesn't provide housing, there is no discount. Or in the past, historically, we have not given a discount.
Right. So for the one we just did on Warner Road, they paid open space fee at a discount. So I just personally, I think that should happen. But
Members First wasn't at a discount.
no, the one on Warner Road, the apartments on Warner Road.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was different. I thought you meant Members First Credit Union.
No.
Do we have the number for this?
I don't believe we calculated one on this. We wasn't sure that it was applicable. Let me check.
We were actually asking for a waiver on the whole open space in lieu of fee, just because of this being such an old subdivision and this being done in the 80s. And this is just a footprint that's always been there, and they're just building it at this time. I mean, because I know you usually require open space or the in lieu of fee, but like I said, they have open space of like 75% of that property that the people can utilize. So there is open space there. So that's what we were asking for, actually, the waiver on the whole open space or in lieu of fee thing.
Well,
Is it public open
have
space?
What's that?
Is it public open space?
I don't know if it's for
Sorry, I'm one of the partners of the property. So it's a gated community, but everyone within the community can use an open space.
So it's not public.
No.
No, and it's not required to be public.
Well,
but
opens.
it's required to be
I mean, it would
dedicated, but not, we don't have use of it. We could, or we don't have to. And like the Brookdale Rehab, they did that, and you can't get on a rehab. So
Yeah,
it was
I
their
mean,
own, so
my understanding of the purpose of open space is to fund park space for residents who live there. Like, I've got a yard at my house, and I would still expect to pay open space, but like I can recreate in my yard. I understand that there are amenities here at this townhome, but they're not public amenities. The entire point of the open space is to fund public amenities like libraries, community centers,
The
parks,
point of
things
the
like
point
that.
of paying HOA fees is so you don't have to.
I mean, I pay HOA
Who
fees,
else?
and I still use the park. I still use Mountain View. I still use all the parks in town.
yeah, I think the intent for open space or in lieu of fees is that the people that you're putting into that space have somewhere to recreate, and they do.
Yes.
But we've been charging that anyway, and that's why we're looking to relook at that. But it's not, I'm just saying at this point in time, we've done it for everybody else. I don't know why we would not do it here unless somebody has a reason why.
I don't know why we would charge them for open space that they already have, that's already being used, and the building is intended to be there. So are the footings there?
No, it's just the.
No.
The footprint of the building is there, so it's not like you're going to be taking away from the open space by putting this building there.
You can look at the Monroe County GIS and see the footprints that they've been paying the taxes on
Right.
for years. and
That's
years.
what I mean.
So,
It's
yeah.
already, it's for all intents and purposes, it's already there. So why would we charge these people for something that we shouldn't be charging them for?
Because the people aren't there.
But the people don't live there. Okay, I can't go to their place and recreate in their property.
I know that's the
Okay?
problem. That's why.
So that's why they shouldn't have to be paying for something that they already pay for through their HOA fees.
Well, but those people can come and use our parks, and
Yeah,
they
'cause they
should
pay
be paying
taxes.
for the.
They
They should
pay
be paying
taxes.
to enlarge the parks so that we can support
You
all
know
these
what? You can't
additional
you
people.
can't squeeze.
We're not
You
gonna
can't
debate it
squeeze
anymore.
everybody.
Yeah, let's not debate it anymore. If somebody would like to put a motion up.
Well, I'm curious. Natasha, are you there? I'm curious what you think.
I'm here and I have no problem with waiving it.
Do you think it should be at a discount, or are you okay waiving it too?
Just waive it.
I'm not okay waiving it because we haven't waived it for anybody else. We've discounted it, but we haven't waived it.
I have trouble waiving it when I don't know what the number is that we're talking about waiving. I mean, I don't know if we want to potentially table this?
What's-
Because I'm kind of on the fence.
What's your disturbed acreage? You should have that, Deanna.
I mean, a footprint, the total stormwater parking, everything was under 0.9 acres because it didn't go into an NPDES.
England. So for discussion purposes, it's an acre or less.
Yeah.
The cost is $1,400 per acre unless you negotiate it.
Well, per EDU, I thought for
No.
housing, isn't it?
No.
No. And
And
it's
what's
not
the
per unit?
discount?
It's not per unit?
Well, that's the question. That's what we've always got in the debate over. There is a per unit fee and there is a per acreage fee.
What did we do for Warner Road?
That was based off 80% of the rooms. So 1,400 times 4 minus 20% would be the historical.
I thought it was like $425 a unit. Is that?
Well, I think that's what it worked out to.
And that's what it worked
I
out
do
to.
suspect
So
what it
if
worked out
if we use that calculation, you've got 7 units. What did we say, 425? Close enough. 418, I think.
Okay.
It was something like that, yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah.
2926.
And that was the full rate or that was a discounted rate?
That was the rate that was negotiated
For the apartments on Warner Road.
An apartment type complex.
So 20, what did you say, 29?
2926.
That'll get you out of the
Sorry, what was the
2926, he said.
one time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then we don't have to worry about this ever again. But hypothetically, if we decide to build the other unit.
Well,
we'll
then,
have to do
then you
it
come
all
back, and you come back and we can haggle.
again. Okay.
You know.
Just so
And
the
it's-
people. Oh,
It's
sorry,
only
go ahead.
because you guys have never waived it before, right? Like.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So
Well,
this will never be free.
We haven't waived it for, we have waived it before. We
Well-
waived it for MCTA, the bus company,
Hmm.
but they don't have any units, right?
Right.
They don't have any residents that need park access. That's why we waived it. That's been other than that, I don't think we waived it for any.
Yeah, we
apartment.
haven't. That was because it was governmental and there were
Yeah.
federal grants involved, but we've never done that since being First Class Township prior to that.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, this has nothing to do with the amount of open space in the development. It has to do with. There's going to be a number of additional people living in this area that are going to be visiting the public
Well,
park areas.
actually, actually, if we go by our rules, there is, because you have open space, if they wanted to dedicate whatever percentage they're supposed to, they could do that and not have the fee. That's a deed restriction, right? That you'll never develop that open space.
Within the community.
And that just has to
Correct.
be HOA maintained open space, right? Which they already have. So you're saying
But you would be opening it up to the public.
I don't think.
No,
you have a
no,
gated community.
no.
No.
No, because Brookdale Rehab did it. They're not going to develop it. It's going to remain open space.
Well, that's already in place with the previous plan.
Yeah, because the whole property's HOA. It's only the individual footprints that are owned by
Yeah,
the.
but you could change your mind, right? If we put a deed restriction on it, then you can't? Or is it
No,
already deed
it's
restricted?
it's already recorded and
That's a deed
restricted.
restriction?
Yes. And that was done when the original plan was filed.
Yes.
And it took into account one more unit than what they're contemplating building.
Yeah.
So you would say they've met that standard, right? It was an option. You set aside or you pay the fee.
They have
And they-
set aside the appropriate amount of open space.
Okay. Then I apologize because you have that. Then I would say myself, you don't need it because they met the ordinance requirements.
yeah.
It's one or the other. You either set it aside or you pay the fee.
Right.
So is it officially even a waiver?
No, the board understands that this obligation was met with the original submission.
Okay.
And this plan is being submitted to, it's like a revised final land development plan because you're moving one building into another.
Yeah.
You're actually disturbing overall less space than what the original layout contemplated.
And plus we had to move the building because of the new buffers requirements. So
I just want to say for the record, just so the public knows what we're giving up here, it's $1,400 per unit times 7 units. That would be $9,800 in revenue towards our parks that we will be waiving if we approve this waiver.
I believe that's incorrect. I don't think.
1,000, it's 1,400 per unit. You said yes, 7 units now.
No, I said it's 1,400 per cleared acre. And I don't know I don't remember what the cost is per unit.
Madam President?
Yes.
This has been the issue that's been the problem with this provision. The question is whether or not this type of living facility is commercial or residential. We go through it every time we talk about apartments. Is it a commercial development or is it a residential development? Because there's an inconsistency in our ordinance, and we have treated the apartments for units like this on a per unit basis on a negotiated fee. If it's purely commercial, it would be like the bank, which paid slightly over $1,400 because there was 1.6 disturbed acres. That was an easy calculation, commercial, clearly commercial. Our ordinance, we don't differentiate between commercial buildings and apartment buildings. So once you start adding the residential component, so I think it's fair and consistent with what the township has done to assess if you want, or to waive it since they've already dedicated open space, restricted open space. But if you were going to consider a fee, it would be per unit, 7 units times 418, as John explained, $28 and change or whatever.
No, the 418 is a negotiated price.
It's a negotiated price.
Yeah.
Down from the 1,400.
It's 1,400.
Right.
Is it for?
425 came down from 1,400. Yeah.
So
But
then
we could
I stand corrected then. It is 1,400 per dwelling unit as well as per cleared acre.
But we have in the past, just recently, been dumbed it down to 420.
Okay, I'm sorry for that then.
Yeah, but because of the inconsistency in the way your ordinance is written.
I mean, I don't really think it's an inconsistency. I mean, if people are living there, it's residential. If people aren't living there, it's commercial or industrial. If people are living there, that's why it's more. It's per dwelling unit because there are people living there who are going to be using the parks. If it's commercial or industrial, people aren't living there to use our parks. That's the purpose of the open space fee, to fund park space for the people who are living in Pocono Township. Public park space, not private park space, not private pools, not, private exercise rooms and HOAs. Public park space, public libraries, public community centers, public spaces that people can take, that all the people of Pocono Township can take advantage of. That's my perspective on the reason this is here.
Then, because we've debated that pretty much. Let's just, does someone want to make a motion?
I would suggest that you might want to consider the waivers before you consider making a motion on the plan itself. There are a number of waivers. It's in a resolution, but I don't believe it made its way to the agenda.
Oh, then we need to table this.
Well, we can go through them. I've got them identified.
We don't have them, right? Do we have them? Because I don't.
The resolutions that the planning commission approved are in the resolution. The only two that were additional was the open space and the sidewalks requirement that we were here for, asking the board for. But the resolution that has been drawn up has the other waivers, which I can go through them if you need me to.
Madam President, if I might.
Yes.
Jared, what is the timing on this as far as date for action, please?
I know we did another one.
Oh, you are. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the proposed resolution.
Okay.
There was a 90-day extension given a month ago. So we could squeeze it into the next meeting if you wanted.
Yeah, my point is,
The extension
it's actually
to the
not
end.
required. If you'd like to
3:30.
see those, we could motion to table.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to table until our next meeting.
Second.
That's good. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Next one is resolution 2026-11, Monroe County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan for adoption. You just want to give us a little.
Sure. This is a requirement from FEMA and both PEMA to qualify the township for any type of HMGP, Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, any kind of Stafford Act funding should a disaster ever hit Pocono Township. This is something that we participate in every 5 years. Everything from threat assessments, cyber terrorism, epidemics, transportation accidents, flash flooding, wildfires. Anything that could plague Pocono Township is done on a THIRA threat hazard identification resource assessment, and takes us about 2 years to put together with the county. So the draft is available online. We did open it up for public input last year at the county level, and we also had Monroe County Emergency Management participating in our events for public input as well. Kind of like the Route 611 safety corridor study. So we're just ready for adoption now.
Okay.
Long time coming.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-11 Monroe County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Second.
Discussion?
The big book.
Look, comment? Online? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have, I'm not going to do a one blanket consent agenda. We're going to do these individually. But I think we need to give our employees and secretaries the direction for these minutes. It's been confusing for them back and forth. And because of that, I'm going to make a motion to table the minutes, all of them, all three of them, until we can get that direction and get the minutes. We can agree on how the minutes should be recorded.
Well, do we want to? Are there still issues with these? I mean, we could always approve these and then change the policy. So moving forward, I mean, to ask them to go back
I
and
have
redo
issues. I have issues with these.
with all three of them.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know, one person. So there's a motion, but no second.
You're making a motion to
Table.
table?
Yeah.
I'll table that or second that rather. Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, can I ask before we vote?
No, I don't think you can have discussion on a table, right?
That is correct. There's no discussion on the motion to table.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
I didn't hear Natasha or Matt.
So I'm thinking
Oh, Natasha's there.
I'll vote aye. Sorry.
So they're tabled.
Madam President, point of order for one moment.
Sure.
In reviewing the January 20 minutes, I don't want to forget this or have it lost. As to the vacancy chair position interviews,
Oh, they
Randy-
missed a name.
yeah, there's missing name as to who was ultimately appointed. That's what.
Yeah.
That needs to be inserted at some point in the minutes for record purposes. I'm sorry, thank you.
No, that's okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion that we approve the financial transactions through February 2nd as presented, including ratification of expenditures in the amount of $398,661.45 for the general fund, sewer operations, gross payroll, capital reserve, construction fund. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Gotta pay the bill.
Any public comment? Jim?
This is for the 2026.
Pardon?
This is for year 2026.
I believe it's for both, for ratifying 25 and
I briefly read through it. A couple questions maybe for Charles. Last year, it was $250,000 short. Is that right? Or
Well, still-
$2 million short?
Oh, for the budget?
Mhm.
This isn't the budget. This is just paying the bills.
Pay 'em.
Yeah.
anyone else online?
Hey it. Uh-oh. Please raise your hand prior to speaking up.
Is there someone online?
Oops, I heard somebody. Josh, you have a comment?
I was just putting my 2 cents that paying the bills is a good thing.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're on to the report of the president, myself. The solar field update, John, anything going on there? Or there's
Yeah, I think there is. Last Thursday, there was a meeting with Swiftwater Solar and DEP. There was a meeting over the violations. I was juggling a couple meetings, so I didn't see the end, but to date, there have been 4 enforcements notices against Swiftwater Solar. The first was for $16,000, second was for $40,000, third was for $109,000, and this one that was being discussed on Thursday was $339,000. There was quite a bit of back and forth during the discussion. Like I said, I was juggling meetings and I had to leave. I don't know if there ever was a final resolution that day. Leo, I know you were in attendance.
Yeah, I was in attendance. It was pretty much, well, it's DEP indicated that this was an attempt to resolve this matter absent litigation. And the number that they were talking about, the $339,000, was a take it or leave it number. That was Thursday. They requested, they being Swiftwater Solar and the owners, et cetera, requested until the close of business Friday to communicate whether or not it was acceptable. I have not heard anything yet.
and these violations, are they using this money to fix anything? Or I think, was this because of the lake and everything?
It was, as I understand it, it was because of the rains and the detention ponds causing muddy water, silt water to leave the property and infiltrate a pond that is adjacent to the property. And believe it or not, there actually was a conversation about where the money was to be used, and it is not to remediate the situation. Rather, it is to go to public education, preservation of waterways, et cetera.
So who pays for the damage?
They do.
Oh.
Jinx. In harmony.
Okay, so the solar people pay the damage of the, okay. So this isn't the only money that they're expending. They gotta fix whatever it is. If it
They
can
have
be
to pay
fixed.
these fines if they agree to the last one, and they fix everything at their expense.
It was a 3-hour long meeting.
Thank you. My next one is on the historical district, like the limitations in the solar field for the historical district that Gina had brought up.
Yeah, that doesn't, there is nothing in the federal registry statute that creates the historic district that preempts the township from enforcing and providing for zoning. In my research, it's apparent that where that would come into play would be whether or not there were federal funds that are used in the development. If there are federal funds, it would not interfere with our zoning or the construction, but it may interfere with their receipt or having to pay back federal funds. But nothing prevents the township from continuing to zone the property as it already has.
So how do we know if they got federal funds? Or
again, that wouldn't impede, we wouldn't have the rights to deny them based on somehow violating something that may impact their federal funds. That would be directly between the federal government and the developer. It's not a restriction in our zoning ordinance as it existed, because this started before the historic overlay district was put into place. But if they receive
federal historic district,
not the federal. No, that's correct. Only our historic overlay district. If they are in violation, if they receive federal funding and they are in violation of the requirements of that funding, then that's a problem between the developer and the federal government.
okay, thank you. I'm going to make a motion to waive the pavilion fees for Boy Scout Troop 85 for Pavilion 1 on August 16th, 2026.
Second.
Session?
Anything for the scouts.
Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion next, decorum policy was revised, and I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the decorum policy.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just because I know there was a lot of discussion on the previous decorum policy on Facebook. I think that this new decorum policy is fantastic. You know, there's no limitations on speech. You can get up, say whatever you want, as long as, you know, you're being orderly when you do it and you respect our president here. And, you know, and we all respect each other. So very glad to see this decorum policy very well drafted.
Any public comment?
It should be in the agenda attachments, but
Anybody online? Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried. My next thing is just a discussion on Core 5 was supposed to get the water test results to the residents, and has that happened? Have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything, but they've never contacted us about it because they go directly through the state for that.
Okay. So we can't contact their attorney to see if we can get them?
Yeah, I could reach out to Jeff.
If you would, please.
Yeah.
So they have bigger problems right now.
Yeah. And John, when you talk to DEP tomorrow, I mean, I'll call the site super. I'll call the Pentec super tomorrow and Journey. But if you could just say that to DEP, because they use a third party to test the water as well.
And Matt.
Thank you. First, I just wanted to say for anyone who's been following, we did meet today, this afternoon with Camelback and Great Wolf regarding the amusement tax issue. It was a productive conversation from my perspective. I think President Canant would agree. She was also there. And because of that, I am going to table the police cost recovery ordinance at the end of my agenda. So I just want to put that out there so you understand. We had a productive conversation, and it could really help the township significantly if there is a change in terms of the amusement tax issue. I think everyone is aware of what's going on, but I'm happy to answer any questions after the meeting if someone wants to talk about it. So I just wanted to give an update on that. I do want to make a motion to authorize our solicitor to advertise the proposed ordinance forming an environmental advisory council. So I'll make that. Thank you.
Discussion?
What do we need it for?
Yeah, so the purpose of the Environmental Advisory Council shall be to advise local government agencies, including but not limited to the Pocono Township Board of Commissioners and the Pocono Township Planning Commission, on matters dealing with the protection, conservation, management, promotion, acquisition, and use of natural resources, including air, land, water, and open space resources located within or affecting the township. And just very quickly, the powers of the council, if you will. Number one is to identify environmental problems and recommend plans and programs to the board for the promotion and conservation of the natural resources. Number two, make recommendations as to the possible use of open land areas within the township. 3 is promote a community environmental program. 4 is to keep an index of all open space and environmentally sensitive areas, publicly or privately owned, including but not limited to flood-prone areas, swamps, other unique natural areas, for the purpose of obtaining information on the proper use of such areas. Number 5 is advise the board and other agencies as to the acquisition of property, both real and personal, and rights thereto by gift, purchase, grant, etc., in matters dealing with agricultural preservation, open space, and recreation. And then number 6 is to perform any other duties assigned to it by the Board of Commissioners.
Hey, don't we already have the DEP, the EPA, the DCNR,
They're not
and
looking out for Pocono though.
sure they are, in the county?
This would be a council of concerned residents. It would also include 1 planning commission member and 1 Board of Commissioners member to advise the board specifically on the issues I just outlined. I mean, the organizations you referenced are not looking at the 6 powers that I just delineated. I think that this is an important thing so that the township is protecting the natural resources we have and looking at open land areas. It's purely advisory. They have no, I know it says powers of the council, but they have no power to do anything on their own. It's only advisory for the planning commission and for the board of commissioners to give us a different perspective, I would say, and to focus on some of the things I mentioned, like promote a community environmental program. The DEP currently is not, working on a community environmental program for Pocono Township, as far as I know.
Okay. Would they be reviewing waivers and things like, we talked about the stormwater runoff before and the shade trees and things like that? Are those the kind of things we would refer to the council to take a look at before we voted on them?
So the EAC can provide advice in parallel with the planning commission to the board. So if something was coming to the board, the planning commission would obviously vet it as they currently do. But the EAC could also draft a memo giving their thoughts on anything. So yes, that would kind of fall under number 6, perform any other duties.
Other duties as a site.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I just had one thing, under appointment procedures,
Did we
15
vote
dash.
on that?
Not yet, we're still discussion.
sorry.
Yep. It says the board of commissioners will designate the chairperson, but couldn't they designate their own? I think, does the planning commission designate?
I think that was changed.
Yeah, they should pick their own.
No, we looked at it. The enabling statute requires that the Board of Commissioners, the forming agency, appoint the chairperson of that advisory council.
So could we, after appointing the members, could we ask the EAC for their?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Okay. And then I just had a question, and it might not be anything. Under appropriations 15-7, it says The whole or any part of any fund so appropriated any year may be placed in a conservation fund. I don't know what that is if they're not responsible for money. Why? I'm not sure. Does that mean just set aside? Or is that its own fund?
So it would, Leo, correct me if I'm wrong, but the board can decide to appropriate funds for expenses. I would assume that's for if they were going to a seminar or something. I mean, travel expenses. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. It's to be used for their purpose.
And professional services.
And professional
Engineer
services. I don't know that,
see.
I don't know that they would have a solicitor or an engineer, probably one or the other or both, but yes.
But we would have to approve any expenses.
Absolutely.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Any public comment? Monica?
Monica, Henryville. What are the qualifications for somebody to be on this? I guess I'm conservative. I don't like too much government. I feel like we already do have all these groups that you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, we just had all these waivers and all this kind of stuff going on. So are you looking for somebody who has some type of a science background, or is it going to be, and the reason I ask is I was listening to the PennDOT meeting, and there was a woman there who suggested we should no longer use windshield washer. And she said we should use vinegar because on the highway, the windshield washer runs off and kills amphibians. Now, I'm not going to stop using windshield washer, but are we going to get people like this on the board? This makes me nervous. I'm not building in Pocono Township. I have my home and everything, but it makes me nervous when we're going to have another board with more red tape that maybe influences somebody who says, you can't do this, you can't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So what are the qualifications that it's going to be for somebody to be on this?
So first of all, I want to stress that they are purely advisory. They're only providing advice.
But what's their qualification?
So the same process as planning commission, people would apply and the board is going to choose the most qualified people. Now, one person on this 7-person board would be one of us, ideally, that's in the ordinance. One will be from the planning commission. And then also I plan on reaching out to Broadhead Watershed Association, Pocono Heritage Land Trust, to see if they have any Pocono Township residents that are members who are interested in applying. I haven't done that yet because we haven't approved it yet. But as soon as we are able to advertise for the positions, I plan on doing that because I want people who are qualified, to use your word. Just like we want people who are qualified on the planning commission or anything else.
Right, but we don't require a background in that. But when you're going to be bringing up concerns, I mean, I know Charles put on his Facebook page, what a shame, Wawa, because there's no more trees. Well, there haven't been trees on the lot for Wawa.
There were a lot of trees.
So if we get a bunch of people like Charles, no offense, what is this going to do for the people who want to build and want to have stuff?
Well,
if they're going to be influenced.
When we interview the candidates, I plan on asking questions. We all would have one vote on that. Charles has one vote, I have one vote. So I think that the board is going to choose people that we think would be good candidates. And I
just think it's more government than we need. But thank you.
Any other public comment? Anybody online?
Yeah, Rich Wolobinski. So I think Monica asked a very pointed question, and somebody just dances around it. What other qualifications? Because if you're not going to tell what qualifications are required, then anybody in whatever can just approve, and if you like them, you'll just approve them.
I believe that's how all our committees are working right now and
Well,
have in the past.
Oh, I don't know. When I got
Not
on the planning
necessarily.
commission, I had to prove I knew something about construction.
it'd be the same process for this. You're going to have to come in front of the board, interview for the position, and answer questions.
But what are the qualifications? I think Monica did. She asked a pointed question, and you won't answer it.
Well, I said that I plan on reaching out to environmental groups like Broadhead Watershed Association and Pocono Heritage Land Trust to find people who are members of environmental organizations to apply for this. I'm not going to say you need a bachelor's degree, you need X degree in a certain field. I mean, we don't require that for any committee. And I think that this is an important part of Pocono Township preserving its natural resources and open land areas. And again, it's purely advisory. It's not going to create red tape. They have no ability to deny any waivers or anything like that. So it's just a group of residents, a planning commission member, a board member that is focused solely on the 6 things that I went through.
So then you're going to waste people's time if you don't listen to what they say. I see my time is up.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Jim?
Why have it if you're not gonna,
I'm sorry, someone's at the podium.
Give me a second, Josh. Is the intent of this to make regulations for citizens? Wash fluid and stuff like that? No, the intent of this is basically to have a team that perhaps would look at a project and research any environmental impact that project may have on that area to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing again, but number 1, identify environmental problems and recommend plans and programs to the board. Number 2, make recommendations as to the possible use of open land areas. That's the intent, is to have a council who is focused on these
Which is
things.
almost going to happen in concert with the planning commission, and then the DEP never even came out to the core 5 site, if I remember correctly, to check anything out. I went to that DEP meeting. It's pretty lame. Yeah. What's it going to cost?
It's volunteer.
Hmm?
It's volunteer.
So what's the downside?
I don't see one, but
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. We have a planning board, a zoning, and a conservation district. Don't they get involved in that kind of stuff too? So why do we need another restriction on us?
it's not a restriction. It's an advisory council.
What
They
is-
provide
It's
advice.
going to be a political thing. Either you guys are going to like the guy or you're not going to like the guy. Like common sense is going to be thrown out the window, but that's why we have the conservation district. You got the planning board and the zoning board, which is great.
Well, the planning commission has the power right now, really, and that could be political as well. I mean, your argument.
You're exactly right. And besides that, you keep saying it's advisory. Well, so would you, and I appreciate that if we go in front of the planning board or zoning board, which one of them, I forget which one it is advisory. All right. So you most times follow their advice. So now what we're going to do is have another board that you're going to have to follow their advice. I just think that
We don't have to follow their advice.
I know, but if you look back into history, most times you have, because they've done the research with the applicant. So I think the conservation district and everything that we have going on is enough. Sorry. Thank you.
I think it's important to note that the Board of Commissioners, we're not subject matter experts on everything. The reason we have a planning commission is because we're not subject matter experts on all issues related to planning. You know, that's why we have people from the fire department on it to understand how much space we need to drive around the buildings and things like that. You know, it's the same thing with environmental stuff. You know, none of us are experts on environmentalism. But environmentalism is very important to the Poconos. I mean, it's why people come here, and, you know, having a board that is looking at this stuff and making sure that we're protecting these natural. Your time is up, Vince.
Got the conservation district. Okay. They know more than everybody.
I know you have a friend on the conservation district. Yes, thank you.
Cheryl Parks. Again, I don't see any downside to this. I think you bring in some different perspectives to it. Maybe if we had had that, we would have had a different outcome with the warehouse, because right now we are just being decimated. The people on Kenny's Way and the people on our road, and the DEP didn't do anything for us or the conservation district. So they didn't help us. And we could have other people, again, you're not bound by it, but just to get an additional perspective. And if we could be reasonable adults and maybe change it. One of my favorite quotes is from Max Planck. And he said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And maybe we can employ that again in this township, because right now I don't think the people on Ruby Lane or on Kenny's Way have been protected by, and I'm not saying this board, but have been protected by the township or by the state. Thank you.
Anyone else? Online?
Yeah, Josh Knapp. I have to agree with the last speaker. There's no harm in understanding an issue from all sides. And as an advisory board of volunteers, it's not going to cost the township anything and could very well save the township lots.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Kyle Hazelton, resident. I have a question. So with this, are you gonna have legal counsel? Are you gonna have engineers? I'm gonna assume they're not sitting here for free.
Leo, I thought you said there isn't necessarily an engineer or solicitor.
It's up to the council if they want that input and advice. The environmental council could request it.
But as an advisory council, it's not necessary, right?
No.
There's nothing to
There's no
advise them.
requirement.
Yeah.
There's no requirement.
So you're gonna have a group of people with no guardrails sitting here,
They don't have any power. They can only
but they're still
provide advice.
you're trying to have them advise you on something. Shouldn't you have an engineer there?
We have an engineer here.
I understand that, but if they're going to advise you on something, shouldn't they understand from an engineer side point?
So are you?
So that's gonna be a added cost, and you're already talking about we're operating at a deficit.
No.
So why are we potentially adding more financial restraints?
I'm not arguing for that. If somebody else.
No,
wants to argue,
but
I don't want.
I mean, you're
I don't want to.
Sorry, time's up. Thank you. Did you time him, Jared? Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, yes, Maria Danges, Pocono Township, Swiftwater. I agree with a couple of the speakers that spoke very recently, and that I don't think it hurts to have different perspectives and greater awareness. And we live in the Poconos, and what makes the Poconos what it is, its magic, is nature. And we need to be aware of what we're doing. And sometimes we don't think things through. And many decisions have been made that I don't think have helped the Poconos preserve its aesthetics. And that's what I'd like to see.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one else? You want to do a roll call vote, Jared?
Commissioner Lee,
No.
Commissioner Velarde,
No.
Vice Chair Long,
Yes.
President Ganant,
Yes.
Commissioner Kapler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next thing, this is something that was recommended to me by actually 3 different residents in Pocono Township. And currently, under our public comment policy, anybody can speak at the beginning of meetings for 3 minutes on any topic. But when we're deliberating on each agenda item, you have a minute to speak, and that includes non-residents. Personally, I agree with the people who have brought this to my attention. Other townships do this as well, where the 1 minute per agenda item during the meeting would be limited to Pocono Township residents and stakeholders. The definition of stakeholder that I've seen and I've discussed with Leo, our solicitor, it would be business owners and operators, property owners in Pocono Township, nonprofit representatives who operate in Pocono Township. So this is just to keep deliberation on agenda items during the meeting limited to residents and stakeholders. I won't lie, part of this is motivated in an effort to keep meetings moving and hopefully end a little sooner. But also it's to keep deliberations between the people that are actually going to be affected by the deliberations, which is residents and taxpayers, business owners, property owners, and like I said, nonprofit representatives.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I didn't make it yet, but thank you. I will motion.
Reading it.
I'll motion to amend the public comment policy to allow only Pocono Township residents, stakeholders, and local businesses to comment on the agenda items when deliberating.
I'll second it again.
Thanks. Discussion?
We do.
What about the state reps
Hold on.
and senators in our area?
Hold on. We're talking to the board right now.
That's
I am the board.
Oh, Natasha. Sorry, Natasha. Go ahead.
Said, what about the state reps and the senators of our area?
Well, I think they would fall under stakeholders.
I'm just clarifying because they're not business owners.
Leo, I don't know how familiar you are with other township public comment policies, but in terms of stakeholder, is a state representative or senator or congressman or whoever, would that qualify? Have other townships done that?
Not that I'm aware of as far as calling them a stakeholder. But you're setting a policy, you're free to include or say it does not include. It's your policy.
I mean, I can see that argument, but personally, you know, any elected official would still have 3 minutes at the beginning of the meeting to comment on any agenda item or non-agenda item. So I'm kind of open-minded on that. I don't know what the rest of the board thinks.
Personally, I don't like the idea of limiting public comment at all. You know, you know, as much as it stinks to be here till, you know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes, you know, that's public service. I like hearing from people, whether or not they're technically a stakeholder, because I think the you know, the issue can get fuzzy, like with something like the blasting. You know, they might not live in Pocono Township. They might not fall under that stakeholder, you know, that stakeholder definition. But if they live right over the property line and somebody's blasting in Pocono Township and they technically live in Jackson or something like that, and the blasting's occurring right on the edge, the idea that they can't come to our meeting to express concerns about that, you know, when we get to that agenda item, like they have to do it at the beginning or something like that. I'm always going to trend towards more public engagement wherever possible. I like hearing from people, and you know, that's why I signed up for this gig.
Okay, Monica.
Okay, we know that I was the one that went to the previous board and asked for public comment. I do agree sometimes it gets out of hand. I am all for public comment. And I think if somebody is personally affected in one way, maybe they should contribute. But I was also going to say our meetings go much longer because of we spend way too much time on an agenda item. And I think that you should too have limits. As far as we have limits, I think you should have limits. And if you can't come to some type of thing because it's unproductive, and I don't think it's really service to the people. Jared, I'm going to put you on the spot. How much does it cost us a meeting if it's 4 or 5 hours long? With having Leo here, with having the engineer here, sometimes the stenographer's waiting for a hearing, roughly, quickly.
Couple thousand.
A couple what?
1,000.
Okay. It's way too long. No township has meetings as long as we do. And I'm not talking about just since you came on, it's been inherited, but I think there should be time limits. If you can't come to a conclusion or you don't have the education on it, table it. It's ridiculous. If he's going to, you know, want something, I want to be able to stay so I can fight it. And I can't if it's 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. I got to get up at 5 the next day. So consider how much money we spend on a long meeting, which is often. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Jim?
Matt, can you quantify or give an example of a non-resident ever giving a comment?
I don't really want to single anybody out, but I mean, if you go look at the last meeting, there's an example.
Okay, fair enough. Because I thought you had to be a resident to.
No,
Now, a lot of townships limit the whole meeting to just residents or stakeholders. I'm suggesting we still keep the 3 minutes in the beginning to anybody, but for the course of the meeting to limit it to residents and stakeholders.
And an expert witness, as Charles is saying, if somebody has intimate experience with something like blasting or something, would there be an exception made?
Well, I would say your 3 minutes in the beginning covers agenda or non-agenda items. You have 3 minutes in the beginning to talk about blasting if you want. So, why do you need another one?
Because they don't know what we're going to talk about, and that's the issue. Their comment opens up like right now, whatever we're discussing, and if it ends up impacting them, now is their opportunity to talk about what we've talked about, not just what they think we're going to talk about. I mean, that was always my issue when I came to these meetings. When you couldn't comment on agenda items, you make your comment at the beginning, and then if something. The discussion was, you felt it was lacking additional context. You weren't able to get up and provide that context as a resident. I think stakeholders, it's defined as like lobbyists and stuff like that. Whereas, again, people who may be stakeholders from outside the township, but they don't fall under that specific definition. I just think it's going to end up excluding. I don't think this is enough of a problem from people outside. Most of the people who do comment are people from Pocono Township. I don't think the people from outside Pocono Township are enough of a problem to open this can of worms.
Is there any other public comment?
Ellen, I just have one thing before we vote.
Hang on. Oh, we got some public comment, Natasha, if you can wait 1 second.
Okay.
Tim Coover, resident. Whatever, I would appreciate whatever you could do to cut the meetings down to us, not as lengthy. And you guys would know how it would be most efficient to do that. But I am in favor of only hearing from residents of Pocono Township. People outside Pocono Township, they have concerns, but they're not dealing with what we're dealing with as a resident. As a lifelong resident of Pocono Township, I'm not concerned of what a township next door or 2 townships over are going to instruct their opinion on our outcome.
Thank you. Go ahead, Natasha.
Just before we vote, I just would like to clarify the state rep and the senator question that I asked, because they do represent constituents in Pocono Township.
Yeah.
So that kind of didn't get an answer. And I would just like to solidify that before we vote on a yes or a no, if they're going to be allowed to speak.
I'm okay with that, Natasha. Leo, is that okay if we, add that to the definition of stakeholder before we vote?
Yeah, I think so, especially since many of them are instrumental in bringing funds from Harrisburg to, Pocono Township. I wouldn't want to see them cut off.
So yes, Natasha.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment?
Frank Greeley, Township resident. I would definitely be in favor for only people in the township or people who are affected by these, because you could actually come from Stroudsburg or something and turn around and say, hey, we want a data center here. And you'd have to say you're from Stroud Township, but you still hear it. And if you don't hear that beginning, then you could have 10 people saying they're from out of town saying, hey, we want the data center here. And you got maybe 3 or 4 people in the audience saying, no, we don't want it. You see what I'm saying? I think that it definitely should be residents and stakeholders only.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Anybody online?
Ellen, I'd like to say that the representative, that allowing a representative to speak in our meeting should be a courtesy and not necessarily something that is limited to the 3 minutes. And I also think that goes for subject matter experts. Otherwise, it's township's prerogative to hear who they want to hear from.
Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried.
All right. Next, at the first meeting as commissioner, I instructed we authorized as the board, our solicitor to draft a data center ordinance. To be clear, we can't ban data centers in Pocono Township. I've said that before. I want that to be known again. You have to provide a use for everything, but we can provide an ordinance that gives the board as much control as possible if a data center ordinance plan does come before us. So I believe that John, our engineer, has drafted a very strong data center ordinance, and I'm happy to motion tonight to authorize our solicitor to advertise a public hearing for the Pocono Township data center ordinance. Have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Madam
Discussion?
President? Oh, Madam
Go
President?
ahead.
We certainly could do that, recognizing that both Monroe County and Pocono Township Planning Commissions have 30 days to get a copy, since this is a zoning amendment, to review and make comments. If we advertise it and comments come back requiring a change in any form or fashion, we'd have to go through the process if they were substantive, Matt. But more importantly, I don't know that we've identified the areas in which the data center can be located.
Jared, can you speak to that?
There's a map here. There's a map.
So the map is it's the same one that's over there as a draft. That's the Enterprise Overlay District. As far as the timelines go, we will have this on the next Monday's meeting for the Planning Commission. And I mean, Leo, I think it's safe to set a date. We could set a date 45 days out, and then we'll have our comments from the County Planning Commission within 30 days.
That's fine. Is the board okay with where the engineer is suggesting that they be located? Because it's going to be a map change also. It's a text change and a map change.
It was just that one area, right, John?
Well, that one area was previously adopted with Nancy and the Planning Commission when they were talking about data centers. That's not my recommendation, nor am I opposed to it. We did submit a couple other maps just to give you some more information. A data center needs power. So if we don't provide options near power, I think our ordinance could be challenged. Now, the data center overlay that was prepared by Nancy and recommended by the Planning Commission, that is near power lines. So I think that satisfies it. If you wanted to add another area, there are power lines, as we know, up by the Swiftwater Solar. Just because there's solar fields there doesn't mean that they couldn't be repurposed for a data center. Now, so whether you want to add that area or leave it off, that's up to you. But I think this is something that the Planning Commission should discuss and make their recommendation back to the board for you to make a final decision on.
So, Lee, are you okay with what we're doing here? Are you suggesting that we make a motion to advertise it first, or what do you think?
I'm way okay with moving this through as quickly as we can.
That's what, yeah.
Okay, that I get, and that is extremely important. What I am questioning or have a question about is, to move it forward, we have a map prepared by Nancy that shows one area for data centers as an overlay. Are we okay with that? If we're okay with that area, then we can start the process.
Yeah, I am. I do not want to add.
Well, I agree with John that allowing it to be up near the solar field, considering that's where the power lines are, I think, I mean, in my experience, I think that would be the place for it. Yeah, there's power lines down along 715 down there. We could put them there too, but I think limiting it to that little tiny spot would be counterproductive. And if we put it up by the solar field, it's already disturbed up there, and there's power lines. That's why the solar field was put there, because that's where the power lines go.
I don't love this spot either. It's right near where Core 5 is. These folks have already been getting hammered with a lot of big projects right in that very small area. If I'm not mistaken here, to potentially have to subject them to a data center as well, that just seems unreasonable to me. I'd love to find somewhere else that's a little more rural, a little more removed from residential areas. I understand the interest in having it near power lines, but a lot of these data centers, they have like power generation on site. I don't think they really need to be near power generation. I think finding a more rural setting where it's away from where people are living, away from, residential areas, that's what would really be in the interest of our residents, personally. And I do think that that's defensible, from my standpoint.
I kind of like the solar idea because wherever you put this, you're going to cut down trees. And the solar field has already done that.
Yep.
But the planning commission or the county would be giving us feedback where to put it or no?
Ask them for it.
Yeah.
But remember, if it changes, we have to start the process again. That's the problem. Because that would be considered a substantive change. So if we advertise it now with one area, it's recommended for a second or third area, and the board is in agreement with that, we have to start the whole process again.
We can't advertise it with one of these three areas and then they say this one we like the best and we're good because we advertised them all.
If you advertise them all, that means that it's going to, and remember, letters are mailed out to all the owners because it is a map change and all the properties are posted. Yeah, I don't think you can smorgasbord it like that.
We haven't mailed out the letters yet, right? Don't we get what their feedback first?
Yeah, my problem is, Ellen, though, if you say 1 or 2 or 3 or 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or some combination thereof, you're not properly advising anybody of where you're going to put it.
Right.
I mean, you could say anywhere in the township, right? We could say we can put it anywhere in the township we deem fit. That's not going to pass the review muster under the municipalities planning code. We just like we did with historic overlay. We went through and the mapping was an issue. And we had to it went from the community expanded to the entire Pocono Mountain investors PMI property. And then we had to do the process again. It's the same thing. If we can't decide, or we do decide on an area, then we have to note that, and that becomes part of the amendment.
So let's say if we said the solar field, does that mean the solar company can choose not to do older phases and put a data center in instead?
If they would comply with the requirements, number one. Number two, it's already being developed. And unless there's an alternate area to allow a data center, I think it could be challenged for being de facto exclusionary. We said, here, you can put it here, and there's something already there. And they can't develop the property. That would be the attack on it there. And then you get into them putting it somewhere, anywhere in the township, and it becomes site-specific relief, allowing them to put it in the middle of not the middle of a residential neighborhood, but adjoining a residential neighborhood. So we're better off identifying, I would rather see, if we're going to go down this road, I'd rather see the crosshatched in C3 and then identify the solar field as another area of crosshatch and then send it through that way. Unless that concerns everybody.
I don't understand. Like, I thought we were allowed to say you can have it there, but if there's something already there, that's not a problem. That's not our fault. We're allowing for it. Something else just happens to be there.
Understood. Recognize that it could be challenged. And if we have an alternative area we can place it, we're a lot safer. We can put them in both. But if you want to do it that way, that's fine. But understand that it may be challenged. And if it is challenged as exclusionary, then the relief that the applicant would seek would be site-specific for the property that they apply for. They would challenge our constitutionality of our zoning ordinance. I'm not saying that they would succeed, but if they do succeed, understand that the ramifications of them succeeding on that, we'd fill this room.
My thought in preparing this, not to go against what Mr. Kepler said, but the planning commission did review it they did pick the location that is hatched, and at the time they did that, they were comfortable. My only suggestion was, do we want to expand it in addition to that? If you feel, and if you did, to me, the logical area was up by the solar fields because that's where the power is. But if you believe that what the planning commission has already identified is adequate and satisfactory to you, we can go with that immediately. I was just throwing options out there for consideration.
But if we switch the location entirely to just the solar area, then you think it could be challenged. So
yeah, I agree with Leo on that.
Yeah, so personally, I'd rather keep it to what it is instead of expanding the area where they're allowed. That's
no. It would be
well, adding the solar field. You know,
the solar field in addition to what is being shown on Nancy's plan.
Yeah, I don't want
that would be okay.
I don't want to expand it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So where is this? Like, it's hard to, I can't tell where this is in town. What roads is this on? Is this Warner Road?
Pretty sure that's I think that little water pool there. It's like between Warner Road and
Staden.
Staden, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's right.
It's in that area. You're correct.
That commercial or C3 district.
Warehouse. Wow, what's their property? There's. We got a kennel too.
So I don't know who's best equipped to answer this question, but I mean, where currently can they go? Is you know, I mean, just so people understand.
It's not expressly provided for use. The township is fair game.
Where's the warehouse? Here. So it's already taken anyway.
Correct. It's still part of the enterprise overlay district. It's the crossings. It's already taken up anyway.
Where's the crossings?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner, Madam President, if I might address.
Sure.
Commissioner Long, my feeling, my concern is, since we want to move it quickly, and this is an open issue, if we can decide this issue, then get it advertised, then we can get it advertised and see what kind of comments we get back. I'm assuming that since this is already an approved ordinance, Monroe County is not going to have a lot of comments. Pocono has taken a cursory look at this. They're not going to have a lot of comments. So we can get it advertised, noticed, and approved within the 45 days. My concern is if we do it and then we start changing areas on the map, that is a substantive change to it. And as a result, we start the process over again. So that's why it's important, if we're going to land on somewhere, we can always amend it.
Right. No, that's exactly where I'm at.
One way or another. We can always amend it once it's enacted.
I don't like the township being fair game currently. You know, that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, I'll agree.
From my perspective.
It's what we did with wind and solar energy when we did our amendment. We moved it quickly, but we decided the areas and then moved it.
And I will say Smithfield Township, we just went through this process, did the same thing. They enacted it. 2 meetings later, they were working on an amendment, but they were the same as Pocono. They were not protected.
Right now we're sitting ducks.
Right.
I would use that.
Well, I mean, a recent unfortunate perhaps example is Core 5. They caught the township, and then right after that, we went and enacted an amendment to the zoning ordinance, which limited where they could go and actually stopped 2 additional warehouses. So speed is of the essence, but we don't want to delay it intentionally or inadvertently.
I had one other question before we go ahead regarding decommissioning, and I noted this before, and I just want to ask, I guess you, Leo, if we were to add a provision in here for some kind of decommissioning escrow, is that something that would be legal? My concern with these data centers is they're kind of an untested technology. There are a lot of them cropping up very fast. These companies seem like they may end up going bankrupt and abandoning the township with a huge data center in the middle of it. I know we have a provision here saying they need to return it to its prior state, but if the company goes bankrupt and they don't have any money, then there's nothing that can be done. If we require some kind of escrow for decommissioning, that they hold that money for some period of time, I've indefinitely, I don't know. Is that something we could do?
I don't have a problem with that at all.
I don't have a problem with that either. I mean, is that something we can add before voting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have to fix an amount right now, or can we just add a provision?
I think you would handle it like you do other escrow accounts in a part of the review process. The developer would be required to submit a plan along with costs to decommission. We would review it and either change it, add it, whatever we felt was appropriate. And then that would become part of the developer's agreement with plan approval.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's fine. Any other discussion? Public comment? Jim?
John, if I may, what did you consider in the placement of a data center? Now, Charles, with all due respect, they need power. There are none that I know of that are actually bringing their own. They are funding and fueling in other ways. There's no nuclear power plants for these things. But John, what else other than power did you consider for the needs of a data center?
We're concerned about water. If they can get water, for example, from BCRA, they have to get a will serve letter. If they're going to do it in an area that BCRA doesn't serve.
What's BCRA?
Broadhead Regional.
Okay, gotcha. It's a Broadheadsville.
Yeah.
Broadheadsville.
Yeah.
It's a water thing.
Yeah, tongue tied. But if they're going to develop their own water, then there is extensive requirements in the ordinance that they do testing of surrounding wells.
Okay.
They have to do their own test. There's also noise abatement requirements in the ordinance, as well as vibration concerns, lighting. The setbacks from property lines, if they're residential use or sensitive users, is 200 feet, which is far more than any other use in the township zoning. So we've done everything we can to protect the people and the environment.
That's all good. Backup generation.
But they'll do that themselves.
Yeah, the noise from it,
All that has to be designed and mitigated to bring it down to acceptable levels at the property line.
I know I'm out of time, but you weren't suggesting putting it with the solar field. I believe you suggested if the solar field goes away, that's a spot.
Right.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Very clearly, you said if the solar field wasn't there, then maybe they could put a data center there. You didn't say let's blast out another 500 acres. Does everybody hear that?
Thank you,
He's
Jim.
not-
Time's up.
Yeah, it is. My time is up. Thank you so much. Will we see this before or at any time? The ordinance? The draft?
It'll be at the public hearing.
Yeah.
Is that in the 45-day period? The public?
No, the ordinance is in the.
It's in here?
It's in the packet, yeah.
Like,
I got
you'll have chance.
I got pulled up
put
on
it in the
the
minutes for the
result.
formal hearing as well.
Thank you.
Anybody online, Jared?
There's 2 people online, 3 people. First one we'll go with is Rich Wilbinski.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Has any of the commissioners, especially the one that's authoring this ordinance, visited and been inside of a data center?
I built one.
I can't see who said that. Who said that?
That was me, Mike. I built one in Clifton, New Jersey.
Okay. Any of the other ones? I'm not sure what I understand the big concern is, but
The water and the electric draw.
but I understand that, Alan, but before they even think about coming to Pocono Township, they're going to investigate that. And if there's not enough water or electricity, they're going to move on. And number two, you wouldn't even know a data center was next to your house. They could put one next to my house here. Matter of fact, Archer Lane has 7 or 8 acres. If they want to build there, it's commercial. Because once they're up and operational, you don't even know they're there. Maybe they get visited 4 or 5 times a month, depending. Maybe there is a person that reports there on a daily basis. Other than that, there's no noise. And maybe when they do run their generator, maybe there would be a little bit of noise, but that's just a test once a month or once a week or whatever their criteria is. So I think long and hard about this before you stop one.
Thank you.
Next one, Greg Moya.
Yeah, hi. So to almost piggyback on the most recent speaker, more or less, like in regards to I know the one person that said that they helped build a data center. So what's like the potential, I guess, benefit for even having one put in within the township, and then how realistic of a scenario would it be to have one put in, I guess?
I guess the benefit would be tax revenue. There aren't really any jobs associated with the data center. It would really just be like like kind of a passive building that would pay taxes, but they would be a huge draw on power. We're already seeing our electrical rates go up because
Well, your
data centers
electric
are
rates
moving
go
into the
down when you have a place like that in.
No, they go up. They're going up right now because
they're
of the
going up
data
right
center
now
proposed for our
yeah,
area.
I know.
So
Thank you. And one more, Jared.
Next one we have is Maria Danges.
Yes, I'm actually a little confused because you're talking about 2 different sites. One is the existing solar farm and the other one, the Warner Road. So what exactly are you voting for? For an approval of or a suggestion for a data center at one of those or both of those? I'm confused.
There are no plans currently that anyone has proposed that I'm aware of to build a data center right now. To echo what I think Leo, our solicitor, said, is that the township is fair game, to use his words, in order, to put a data center in. So we are trying to limit the places that a data center could go in. The discussion regarding the solar field was a suggestion to add to the current location that's going to be the only spot approved for a data center to go. But I don't think we are going with that. So I think the current plan is going to stand as is.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President, not to be smart, Commissioner Long, we're not trying to limit anything. We're trying to provide for it.
Yes, it will
Yeah,
be provided.
I assume that's what you meant. We're trying to provide for this type of use in our zoning ordinance, correct?
Yes, we don't want them to be able to be built anywhere in the township.
Correct.
We're trying to
Just provide a place to have them.
Yes.
Very good.
Next up, we have Maureen Madden.
Did you just go?
Thank you. And I just want to commend this board for their work and for their, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I want to commend you for being really detail oriented and thinking about the community and thinking about what these data centers will do. And I'm going to disagree with Rich Wablinski. Data centers do not belong in neighborhoods where we have exceptional value water. They will drain our streams. They will pollute our water. There is not enough water in the Poconos to sustain data centers. So as few of them as we can have would be the best possibility. And I would appreciate you do your best within the law to make that happen.
Thank you. Anyone else, Jared?
Next, Josh Knapp.
Yes, thank you, Jared. Listen, I have to go on the back of Maureen Madden on this one. There's no appropriate place for a data center here. If we have to make one, it should be as far from residential as we can make it. I'm a little confused and I'd love a little clarification. You were talking about between Warner and Staden Road. Can you just elaborate on that, please?
I was just gonna say, Josh, if you pull up the packet on the Pocono Township website, you can find the map that includes the zoning overlay where we're looking, or well, where the ordinance as proposed would have the data center. It's not, it's kind of a couple of little blocks around that area, kind of around Core 5, if you take a look at it, but it's difficult to like describe it, I guess.
Yeah,
Josh, current Core 5 parcel. It is not the parcel that may be in question in Staten Road. That is not part of the Enterprise Overlay District.
Okay, Gerald, thank you.
Thank you. Monica?
So I'm just going to suggest you might want to table this. And the reason I'm saying that is because the governor has signed or proposed legislation. And if you look it up, he has fast-tracked legislation and it's going to basically squash whatever the townships put forward, the local government. But I would maybe suggest, Leo, as you're charging us, if you want to just look into that, because it might make the point mute. Like, we can have stuff in place, but from what I'm reading, it's not going to matter what you do.
I'm aware of that. I'm hoping it fails, and I want to be prepared if it does.
Anyone else?
Is there a legend for a data center?
Jim, it says what says Enterprise Overlay District is.
But nothing says specifically data.
Anything within Enterprise Overlay District, so where the checkered boxes are.
It's one of the things.
Cheryl?
No need to really just Google data centers.
Cheryl, you had your hand up.
Still confused about where on Warner that is. I can't really tell by the map.
It looks like it's Core 5 and like along 715, right? Where the roadway used to be, kind of looks like to me.
So further up toward the school, like further up toward 715.
Yeah, well, wherever Core 5 is, and then forward to 715.
To 715.
That's what it looks like to me. John, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
It's just wasn't really clear. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We're good? Okay. You want to do a roll call vote, Joe?
Commissioner Leap,
Yes.
Commissioner Velarde,
Yes.
Vice Chair Long,
Yes.
President Ant,
Yes.
Commissioner Kepler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I am done.
Natasha?
The only thing I have tonight is a motion to approve the reduction of construction escrow for Turkey Hill Mini Mart, store number 274 in the amount of $70,465.03.
I'll second that. Discussion? Public comment? Anybody online?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else, Natasha?
Nope, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Yep. Statements expressed by individual board members are their own and do not necessarily represent the official position of the board nor myself. Due to concerns regarding his statements towards members of the public, as well as his disparaging remarks directed at members of the volunteer fire company, township employees, committee volunteers, and our police, and most recently open carried a handgun at our last meeting, actions which have raised questions from the public to me about the board's professionalism and actions that have eroded public confidence in the board, I'm requesting that Charles Kepler resign from the Pocono Township Board of Commissioners. I also want to make a motion to remove Charles from the position of parliamentarian due to his lack of knowledge and common sense. Can I get a second?
The seconds for what? The removal of parliamentarian?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Are you interested in the position, Mike?
No, I'm not qualified to do it either.
Is Commissioner Leap interested? Just out of curiosity.
Sure.
President Gannon, I'm curious what you think as you know, you were the president at the first meeting, obviously, and I mean, we did put out a statement regarding the actions of Commissioner Kepler at the first meeting. I mean, it was the first meeting. I'm curious what you think. Sorry to put you on the spot, but
No, that's okay. I'm not in favor.
all right.
Any other discussion?
You gonna do this every week?
Public comment?
Like it or not, we voted him in. Okay, this is your opinion. This is not the opinion of anyone else. Before you make any moves, on a duly elected official, that we should have some input here. What are you trying to do? I know you don't like him. A lot of people don't like him.
Say I didn't like him. I just don't like the way he does
You're okay. You say you don't like I don't even know what he said about the volunteer fire department. I didn't even know he was carrying a gun, which I could care less. That's something on the next thing on your agenda that you want to allow. You know, come on. If you're going to get rid of him, you got to do it with our approval. That's all I'm saying. We voted him in.
Resignation. That's all.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I can ask.
Any other public comment?
Just Frank Greeley Township resident, just in a quick search. Generally, as legal counsel for the township, the solicitor is almost always present at public meetings. When a dispute arises regarding Robert's Rules of Order or the township's own bylaws, the Board of Commissioners usually looks to the solicitor for ruling to ensure the meeting remains legally defensible. I think that'd probably be the best way to go. He stays in, and then when it comes to the next, it would be the solicitor.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Online?
Josh Knapp.
Thank you. This has really gone a bit far. As Jim said earlier, he's an elected official. He was voted for. You know what, Mike? There's a lot of stuff you do that I don't like, and you're an elected representative. In fact, you sort of represent me. And I don't like what you do with this, you know, putting down people, you know, using a public forum to put down people, put down groups just because you don't agree with them. Suck it up.
Anyone else? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Leap,
Yes.
Commissioner Flaherty,
Yes.
Vice Chair Long.
Before I vote, I just want to say, as it was his first meeting, nobody was interested in parliamentarian at the time. I know Commissioner Leap is now interested, but I'm not in favor of removing him now. But if there is another issue in the future, then I would be open to it. So with that, I will vote no.
President Gannon.
No.
Commissioner Kepler.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay. And Jim, you're going to like this. A motion to declare Pocono Township a Second Amendment sanctuary township. At the last meeting, I was lectured that no one is looking to limit our Second Amendment freedom. Well, there's 5 bills in Harrisburg right now. PAHB 837, they want to limit you to buying 1 gun a month. PAHB 1099, a ghost gun ban, which frankly I don't care about. But PAHB 1593, a universal gun registration. So, hey, you know, they're all good. They're going to know what you got. And then PAHB 1859, red flag laws, like they have in Maryland. And PAHB 1866, the definition of an offensive weapon. Okay, so I was lectured at the last meeting that no one's trying to limit our Second Amendment rights. Well, there's 5 bills in Harrisburg right now, and they voted on one today. I don't know what the disposition of it was, but they voted on one today, and they can vote on them and limit our Second Amendment rights. All I'm asking is that we declare Pocono Township a Second Amendment sanctuary so that their cockamamie rules won't apply here. Can I get a second?
I'll second it for the purpose of discussion. I'm going to ask you, Mike, the same thing I asked at the last meeting. Are you recommending a proclamation, a resolution, an ordinance? What are you proposing?
A declaration.
So I mean, it wouldn't really be.
It's not an ordinance. It wouldn't
be binding in any way.
What I want to do is encourage people to understand. I want people to understand that their Second Amendment rights will be protected in Pocono Township.
There's only one person on this board who's expressed any concern with, you know, a member of this body or a member of this township exercising their Second Amendment rights, and it's you, Mike. So it seems a bit hypocritical coming from you, frankly.
Okay. Whatever that means. So do I get a second?
I seconded it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. I think that we could have a resolution or an ordinance, like I recommended last time, that would commit, no township dollars would go to enforcing anything. But I mean, if that's why I brought that up last time.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've driven through towns, Luzerne County, Lackawanna County, Monroe County, Carbon County, and they have a sign right at the entrance to the town. This town is a Second Amendment sanctuary township. So that's all it says. Just like the dopey gun-free zones that don't help. Okay? The gun-free zones don't help anybody, but I think having a declaration that we have Second Amendment rights in our town.
Is there any public comment? Anybody online? Oh, Josie.
Hi, Josie Kepler, resident. For the Second Amendment rights you want protected, is it for the residents or would it be like?
For anyone.
But is he allowed to carry his handgun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say he wasn't allowed to bring the gun here. I'm just saying that what he did was, you should have checked with the chief.
He did.
I did check with
I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Then you shouldn't be talking about it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your input.
I have 30 seconds.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Mike, you're not supposed to.
I do think that of all of the, I'm
Cool.
sorry, Al.
That's it.
I do think of all of the unprofessional behavior. I do think that you definitely contribute to it. So I would maybe check yourself next time before you keep motioning for this. Goodbye.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I apologize if I seemed like I was lecturing.
When you were lecturing.
But that's okay. That's okay. Mike, it's fine. It's fine. Some of what, in fact, all of what you mentioned on the 4 points that you brought up, I think a lot of that is common sense. I'm sorry you don't agree with that. Okay. I don't think that anything you do is going to override anything at the state or the federal level. Okay. Now, I vehemently oppose trying to gild the lily here by making the Second Amendment that much better and putting signs out. I would appreciate it if the board would look at the cost for the solicitor, the signs, the placement, and also the construction to put them in before you even advance this any further. I'd like to know what it's going to cost us to do this. How many signs, where they going, how much it's going to cost, and how much Leo's time is going to be consumed and what that cost will be. That would be a prudent thing to do. So I do oppose it, But hey, if you're going to push it through, I want to know what it's going to cost us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leo, would signs being purchased, would that have to be approved separately? I mean, that's not declaring us a sanctuary status doesn't mean we're approving expenditures necessarily, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Yes, Maria Danges. I think,
Please hold until we call for online
okay,
comment.
thank you.
Go ahead, Frank.
Frank Riley, Township President. Just curious, how that would be affected by state laws if the state laws do pass, and then you have a problem or somebody has a problem and they call the township says, it's nothing we're going to get involved with. What does a resident then have? Do they have to call the state police directly if there's a problem? I mean, because you said that they don't use the police department for enforcing things. I'm not quite sure how that works. That's what I'm asking.
Frank, this would not bind us to anything. I mean, we could do a resolution or an ordinance that would have specific language about not committing resources to enforce unconstitutional laws passed in the future, but this does not deal with that. I mean, this is purely symbolic from my perspective.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I need to know. I didn't know if it was affecting
we're trying to fill
other
the same-
rules.
No, really, because that's really what it is.
Any other public comment? Anybody online?
First one would be Josh Knapp.
Thank
Good.
you. I apologize for losing my temper before. I have to agree with the idea that not a cent of township money can go to this. And anything we print up, hold on, my time. Anything we print up has to go through Leo and get authorized, and he's not going to do that for free. So we have a minimum charge that's, waiting in the wings on that. The second part is that we declare that as a township, and what sort of liability does that put us in? Because it really doesn't stop the state or the federal laws from taking hold. So we have some idiot here who brandishes a gun saying it's his right, and then he gets into trouble for it. What can of worms are we opening here?
Thank you. Anyone else, Jared?
Next up, Maria Danges.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marie.
I'm a firm believer that we could use some regulations so that we can be safe in our communities. And so I vehemently oppose this decision too.
Thank you. Anyone else, Jared?
The next one would be Maureen Madden.
Go ahead, Maureen.
Thank you, Ellen. I just want to clarify a couple of things that Mike Velarde said. The only bill that we passed around gun control was a bill to require background checks on long guns, rifles, and shotguns. They hadn't been included in universal background checks before. Now it passed the House, but it'll die in the Senate. And the other bills failed. Like we had a bill to outlaw making 3D guns and any guns that could be made without metal components, and that bill failed as well, along with a couple of other ones, but I'm running out of time. But most of those bills you mentioned, they failed or will die in the House.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Anyone else, Jared?
That's it.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Velarde,
Yes.
Vice Chair Long,
Sure.
President Gannett,
No.
Commissioner Kepler.
No.
Motion carried.
Okay. Now, let's see. Oh, yeah. In order to ensure a fair gubernatorial and U.S. senatorial election, Pennsylvania should adopt an electoral college system so Philadelphia and Pittsburgh don't pick our leaders. Contact your state senator, Brown, and voice your opinion. And now we're going to talk about the minutes. We have to make up our mind. about the minutes. Between Jared and Chris Ann, they spend well over 20 hours on the minutes for the January 5th meeting alone. 1 minute they want verbatim, the next minute ChatGPT tells them otherwise. This is why, no, that's, okay. The audio tape says two different things. So are we going to do verbatim or a summary? We can't be wasting time on minutia.
I think we have a workshop scheduled where we're going to talk about this. So
That'll be the first thing we talk about.
lovely.
And last but not least, President Ronald Reagan would have been 115 coming up on Friday, February 6th. By the way, my mother would have been 100 on Friday, February 6th. And this is something I have on the wall in my living room. It's a quote from President Reagan. It says, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We don't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men were free." Thank you.
You had a motion on there. Are you going to make that?
No, that would.
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
Do we have to motion to table that? If it's on the agenda?
You can skip it.
We can skip it. I'm just not going to mention it.
Okay. Charles.
All righty. So I have two things tonight. The first is I just wanted to bounce this off the board. It was something I talked about with Pat. I know for our sewer program, we were working on a grant for a hook truck, right?
Yes, for the sewer department.
Yeah. So basically, the idea I had, and I was chatting with him about, was potentially putting a dumpster somewhere in Pocono Township and allowing residents to come down and get rid of garbage there. Maybe we'd staff it for a couple hours a week. Have somebody weigh the trash, throw it in, and we could dispose of it at cost. Whatever the cost is to have the person stand there. I mean, we were doing that for Mountain View Park, having someone stand there all day and, told people to get in. We could do the same thing for trash, and then it would cost us very little because we have the hook truck. We could scoop up the dumpster, take it to the dump. Big issue right now is two of the big trash services in our area recently consolidated, and they immediately raised the price on trash service. So I know trash is a big concern out here between the littering, the dumping, and just the cost of getting rid of garbage. It costs $40 just to get into the dump. Down in Penn Argyl, if you just want to bring like one bag of garbage down. So it's very expensive to get rid of garbage, and providing an option through the township at cost for residents to come get rid of their garbage, or near cost, be a great way to provide a service to the people at using the resources we already have available. I just wanted to see what the board thought about that.
So would you have people pay for this? I'm envisioning an overflowing dumpster once everyone finds out about this.
No. Well, so it would be a cost. So you'd weigh the garbage, and we would charge some kind of fee for by weight. So we'd have a scale. We'd have a person standing there. You come, weigh your trash. We charge you whatever, and we throw it in the dumpster. It would just be it would be at cost. So we'd be just trying to recoup the cost that we're paying to have the person stand there, whatever the cost of the scale is, and whatever cost it takes to take it down to the dump.
Pat, what are your thoughts on this?
So Charles did mention this to me when we had our sit down, and on the surface, I think if you could get the costs together in hand and cover those costs and ensure that there's no issue with the Monroe County Waste Authority. If the board's interested, I would be happy to follow up and talk to the director there, Mike Stetler, and start to look at the other costs and considerations. Honestly, I haven't given it a lot of detailed thought. Charles just mentioned it to me, and I haven't really done anything with it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to bring it up tonight just to talk about it, because we're still ways off from getting the hook truck anyway. So, but I just kind of wanted to plant the seeds, get people thinking about it, and maybe we can talk about it a little more in the future. But
well, now you're talking about you're talking about like just John Q resident bringing their garbage to one location?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of townships do this.
Right, no, I'm in now, but in my development where I live, we're required to have private pickup.
Yeah.
By our bylaws. So how would that benefit me?
I suppose it wouldn't benefit you if you had that in your
It's in
development.
the
I don't know
by-
that
it's in
most
the bylaws.
developments have that.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, it would be a cost. The people who would be using the service would be the ones paying for it, because we would be charging to get rid of the trash at cost. So it would just be the people using it who would pay for it. It would be, a wash.
You mean like a central location?
Yeah, it would just be somewhere in town. I thought maybe by the Public Works building, but I don't know that there's space over there. I know we also have the recycling center over in Swiftwater. I don't know. I don't think Pocono Township operates that, but
No,
we might
that's
be
the
able
county.
to. But we might be able to make some kind of deal with the county to work with them, since people are already going down there with the recycling to provide a way to get rid of their garbage too. I don't know. It's just something we could talk.
It's an idea. But sadly, it wouldn't help a lot of people though.
I would reach out to Polk Township. They do their own recycling, their own garbage. They have a system, and they could give you an idea of what it costs.
And Mike, you can run
Oh.
for the board of your HOA, maybe. Change the.
I was the president for 6 years. It's enough. That's
Yeah.
enough.
So just to piggyback on top of that, and I'll provide a report maybe for the next meeting for the board, but there are some additional trash services that the township can take advantage of with respect to the county. There's a new recycling center that is off of Military Road in Stroud Township. It's not far for Pocono Township residents. They accept electronics there. They accept batteries, a number of things, oil, under certain conditions. So if the board pleases, for next meeting, I can bring a report that we can include in the public record so that folks will know where they can go and get rid of some of their recyclables.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up part of our trash problem on the side of the road is not people that live here, it's our tourists. So this would not help that.
Well, I mean, when Matt and I were picking up trash, pick up the Poconos last year, we were dragging like huge tires and Buddha statues and Ouija boards and stuff out of the woods. That's not stuff being left by tourists. That's stuff that's being left by people who live in and around Pocono Township. And my guess is because it's difficult to get rid of really large, bulky stuff. Because you can't stick really large, bulky stuff in a can. You got to take it to the dump, and it costs you $40 to get into the dump. You're just going to throw it in the woods a lot. Well,
We have cleanup 2 times a year to do that stuff too, but
yeah.
Monica, you had come.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, we do have cleanup. The people who are littering, most of it is fast food, and that costs more than I pay $33 for DM Pomisano. They pick up 2 45-gallon. They're mom and pop, they just, so maybe you're with the wrong carrier, but I don't think anybody who's buying fast food is getting it for much cheaper. I know Chick-fil-A is like $15 for one meal. So the people who are just throwing out their trash are doing it because they're going to do it anyway. And they're usually not the people who are paying for garbage. I don't think $33 is too much to be paying, but I am concerned about having another employee that's going to have to stand there. If you have large items, you put them aside, you get rid of them. We do it twice a year. It costs us money to have the dumpsters. We have the road crew. They go through the whole thing. If you're going to have another employee being there up at the recycling center, they have to have it gated off because so many people were dumping junk. So what are we going to do then? I just think, and our taxes are going to go up ultimately. So you're not wanting to pay, you're not going to want to have that individual pay, but now everybody else is going to have to make up the cost for it. So I get it. That's your mindset, right? Everybody else can pay for it for the ones who can't. But, I just think if there's something that would be in a grant and that's not going to cost additional taxes, but, you live here, you gotta have trash collection.
Yeah, no, I mean, I propose this as a self-funded initiative. I think, we just like the sewer system, if you're using it, you pay into it, and that's how it's funded. Obviously the sewer system is a way larger scale, but I anticipate this to bring down costs for all residents because if there is a public option, then the trash haulers are forced to compete with it. Right now they're raising their prices because they just bought out a competitor. Casella just bought out Whitetail. So we have one less trash hauler in the area, prices immediately go up. If we provide a public option, maybe the price will come back down. It's not a guarantee, but it's it's something we can do to try to help the residents and provide a little more competition in the market if the market's not providing the competition itself.
We did look at this from a brief level when Commissioner Kepler had asked for it to be put on the agenda. It would require a certain type of permitting, but what I could do is ask the waste director to come and give everyone a full explanation at our next meeting, and we'll just keep it on your agenda as a discussion.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now on to my second one. So I'm very concerned about the $2 million deficit in our budget. It would take us 8 businesses the size of Camelback coming to Pocono Township to make up that, or paying as much in taxes as Camelback to make up that deficit. We don't want to be having to have a core 5 come into our township every year just to keep us afloat. Right now, even if we maintain taxes where we are now, we're still looking at a $1.5 million or $1.5 million dollar deficit. Still an enormous deficit. I'm concerned about our ability to fund critical services in the long run. I'm concerned that we're not going to be able to do the kind of enforcement we need to do on things like waivers. I'm concerned that we're going to be allowing developers to do whatever they want just because we need the tax revenue. I mean, when I used to come to meetings and make public comment, that's what I would always hear from the board, was that this is the only way to hold the line on taxes is to keep approving these waivers and basically let the developers do whatever they want in our township. Because that's the only way to keep them coming back, because that's our cash cow. I think that we should be giving, we already have our tax rate set here. I don't think it makes sense to reduce it right now when we have a $2 million deficit. If we maintain it where it is today, we can at least, again, hold the line. But if we reduce it now and there's an emergency, there's some kind of crisis, a bridge fails, something like that, we don't want to be exhausting our savings. It's valuable to have savings as a township, because things that the township has to maintain are very expensive. Like a bridge could be millions of dollars to repair. I know it's only about $80 per taxpayer, this tax savings. That's for the average, that's for the median home value in Pocono Township. So that's not the median assessed value. So it's actually probably less than $80 per taxpayer. I don't think it makes sense to push this cut through now. I don't think it's going to make life any more affordable for people of the Poconos. And what I really think it's going to end up doing is making it so that the township isn't able to do what they need to do to make life pleasant for the people who live here. I think we're not going to be able to do the things that we want to do as a township, the sort of projects that make this place a great place to live, if we are operating with a $2 million deficit every year. So I want to make a motion to maintain the 2025 municipal tax rate of 3.429 mils for the 2026 tax year. Do I have a second?
Seeing none, motion fails. Anything else?
Nope, that's all. Thank you.
Paul?
So this month, we're kind of slow on permits. We issued 10, one new construction for a single family dwelling, handful of building permits. There's 2 transit dwelling unit NOVs that went out. One for a lot construction without permits. We closed 5 TDU NOVs by either giving them license or they were stopped advertising. We have an upcoming civil hearing for 175 Laurel Lake. That's about property maintenance issues. That's in front of the Court of Common Pleas. We had a handful of public hearings. So 529 Camelback, that was for the cell phone communication tower we discussed last meeting. They came in, they did not request any variances, and they were given the special exception approval with conditions. There is a 30-day appeal period from the date of that decision that went out, so we'll be waiting on that to issue permits. They haven't given us the new applications or all the documents required yet, so we're still waiting on that. There is a upcoming hearing for 2351 Route 715. That is for a variance and zoning determination appeal. 140 Rose Street, that was a hearing in front of the zoning hearing board. They requested variances for a size of the sign. That variance was granted. And then we have the 383 Babbling Brook that's still pending. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Does anybody have anything for Paul?
Paul, any new issues or complaints regarding hotels, motels, etc.?
I haven't had any complaints recently. We are mostly in the kind of ski season in Camelback, so they're relatively good with their kind of maintenance up there. There is a kind of pending, we haven't verified the kind of validity of a complaint, so we're looking into one at a hotel. I don't want to name any names yet until we're sure.
What's the nature of it? You don't have to give the name of the hotel, but what was the complaint?
It was a life safety issue with some equipment on the property, so we'll be either potentially, most likely it'll be a building code issue than zoning, but.
Okay. So you'll update us on that next meeting potentially?
If the kind of complaint becomes valid, or if we look into it and it is a valid complaint, I can address it at that time.
Oh, I had something for you. The dangerous structure for the Pocono Manor Hotel. You were going to go up there and look at it?
Yes. So when we posted those properties, I did look at the hotel. It is secure, so it wouldn't be a dangerous structure or unsafe structure under the building code. Property maintenance, it's obviously kind of dilapidated, so we could move forward with that. The dangerous structure, we'd have to get a closer look. It is kind of fenced off, so I couldn't get close up to see any details on structural integrity, things like that. But it is kind of fenced off, so the general public can't approach the building.
So our property maintenance, what does that allow us to do?
It would be fine them to make sure they either fix a building and bring it up to the standards of the property maintenance ordinance, or obviously fine them or come into compliance.
So, I mean, I'm assuming there's still some structure left to it, right? Do they have to demolish it then? Just
so they could bring up again. I didn't detail it exactly. Kind of feel the board out what they want to do. If they want to move forward with a dangerous structure, we'd have to get more kind of administrative work with LEOC to the extent that we can investigate it. Obviously, the siding of the building is off. There's kind of more unpleasant kind of aesthetic issues than structural.
I thought people were hanging out there though, partying. I thought that was part of the complaint.
I haven't heard any complaints about that. If you have any kind of complaints you can forward to us, we'll look into it. But
I thought Gina complained about that, didn't she? Gina Loichik? I forget to say her name.
There were more, I guess you could say, urban explorers trying to photograph the property of abandoned buildings.
Oh,
Yes. Well,
interesting.
kids entering the building that shouldn't be.
people have some odd hobbies, I guess.
So we just recommended somebody tear down the building across from Dasaki. Is this the same type of situation where, and when Fountain Court burned, we had them demolish that right away? This hotel's been hanging out like this for years. I think it's time they do something, right?
We would have to get approval from the board to investigate it under the dangerous structure ordinance.
That's not under property maintenance. I mean-
Property maintenance, it doesn't deal with structure. To get it, the property maintenance, we can't move forward with any demolition of the property. The dangerous structure, we have that ability.
Okay. Can you put that on the agenda for next time? Thank you. Jen.
Thank you. I will be super quick. I don't have much since event season is just kicking off. This year we have made the decision to move a majority of the events to the new property here. Utilize all the space that we have out here would be a great place for all these events that we have going on. Just still working out some of the logistics of it, you know, with parking and things like that. But we pretty much have a good game plan. We're looking forward to our first movie in the conference room here. It'll be March 21st. And if anybody has any good movie suggestions, we're open to them. And lastly, we are still working hard on getting sponsorships. They are coming in slowly, but they're coming in. Right now, we are at $12,300.
Do we know what the capacity of this room is? Like, how many can we take in for a movie?
Jared, would you know that answer?
Conference style seating is 200. That's
we did
what
have-
we're rated for conference style seating. Generally, we take the chairs out and let people spread blankets out. You know,
Yeah, we usually have the room pretty much empty, and then we have food, like we have popcorn set up in the back, and we give little giveaways for the movies and things like. We try to utilize the hallway too for things if we need to. Yeah.
Thank you.
So unless anybody has anything else for me, that's all I have.
Thank you. Jared?
Thank you, Madam President. A couple things tonight. Police wing update. The architects are going through and working with Rodney on some of the low voltage requirements. Next thing I have is the majority of the board is going to be at the PSATS conference. We had the meeting scheduled for April 20th. I would just request a motion so we can go out and re-advertise to change the meeting from April 20th to April 22nd so that everyone's back. That would be a Wednesday.
You just need a motion.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I'll make that motion that we change the April meeting to the 22nd.
I'll second.
Discussion? Public comment? Anybody online? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right. PMVB does the pick up the Poconos. It's something that Pocono Township has always participated in, and we did commit for pick up the Poconos this year. We'll host in the front of the building. We'll host everyone coming and getting their bags and whatnot, and then we'll dispatch the people to where we have flagged. Pat and I have flagged a handful of roads that are generally the most littered upon. If anyone has any roads that they would like to add to this list, just send me an email, please. And next one we have is we received another grant. This is another small water and sewer grant in the amount of $203,000. Thank you to Representative Madden and Senator Brown for their support on that. That is towards the generator and automatic transfer switch for this building. So that puts us just at about $1.3 million in grant awards in about the past 2 months. So pretty great. Leo, not sure if we should table this or we did have the 3 Mile Vision Systems listed as part of the capital. I understand that we are not advertising the budget or accepting the budget until the 9th. We wouldn't be billed until afterwards. Would you be comfortable with putting this on this agenda, or do you want us to push to the next one?
Madam President, I'll defer to you, but
I would put it on the next one.
I was going to suggest that if you had not.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And just the last thing I have is just the Core 5 blasting schedule for the week. Tomorrow between 10 and 2, and then Thursday on 10 and 2. Fingers crossed, they did say that this, as long as they get everything accomplished, this should be the last week for blasting.
Okay, and just to go back, we're going to be contacting them and trying to get someone to go out to Cheryl's house. Or
John will reach out to the DEP. I'll reach out to the site super, and I'll also reach out to Jeff Durney for the water reports. They are swearing up and down that they're firing an air horn, whether they are or not. I'm just relaying the message. But John, if you want to forward that to the DEP as well.
Thank you.
And if my falls into my deck, then what do I?
I'm sorry.
I said, I guess the question is, where are they blasting the air horn? Because nobody's hearing it. So are they doing it near residential properties, or are they doing it in New Jersey?
Well, they're probably doing it on site.
I was joking.
I know, but I'm saying that, in my experience, the warning is for the people on site. It's not necessarily for the neighbors. OSHA requires the warning so that the fellas on the job know that there's going to be a blast. Whether or not there's requirements to notify neighbors within a certain radius, I have no idea.
That was the
What-
letter.
what-
I was.
Yeah, their letters.
I don't know. I just know what I've experienced.
And when I was looking at our old ordinance from 2018, the blast radius had to be within 300 feet of any affected property.
Okay.
But again, I don't know if DEP has any regulations as far as site.
Based on my cursory review, it's the same 300 feet with DEP. But I'll double check that a little bit more thoroughly tomorrow.
Can we, when you call them tomorrow, tell them that we believe there's severe damage, and maybe could they go look at it before they blast?
Yes.
I mean, because
I don't think DEP will, but I can try to get the company that did the survey to
Yeah.
get there and look at it.
yeah, and then Cheryl, did you hear that?
Yeah, maybe the lady up at Evans Lane too, it sounds like she had a lot of damage too.
Yeah, Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
Rebecca.
What kind of a horn could they possibly use that will carry 300 feet?
They said it was 120 decibels, I should be able to hear it if it's.
Well, that's less than the sound of a rooster.
Should have had a rooster. Yeah.
Well, I can.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if my roof, I'm standing between metal roof. It's really cold, so any kind of blasting, the material is much more brittle. So now I've got my whole house covered in ice because because the roof just exploded and the panels.
Thank you.
It's documented.
Anything else, Jared?
Barring any other questions, that's all I have, Madam President.
Okay. Pat?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few items to update. I've invited PFM Financial for the next board meeting to review their report on the sewer.
Okay.
So look for that on the next agenda. The DPW guys spent time digging out fire hydrants and cleaning snow piles from intersections and trying to prepare for the next round of storms that we're hoping won't come, but look like they will come. So it's been a busy winter. Those guys are doing a nice job keeping up on stuff. The ice rink remains open as weather permits. We've used our new Kubota snow thrower to clean the ice from snow so people can enjoy ice skating if they can tolerate the cold. But that's open until from dawn until 9 p.m. when the lights shut off over there. Leeward, who's doing the 715 project, completed the replacement of the pipe that feeds our upper pond. That was shut down for a couple of weeks while they made that replacement, but that has been completed and it's up and running again. And finally, the Co-Streams contract that the board approved 2 meetings ago. We had a meeting last Friday. We spent 5 hours with a startup and a tutorial. They've started that process. I'm impressed so far with their team and the program. So it's still not up and running. We're still in the process, but I'm impressed with what I've seen so far.
Good. Thank you.
Okay,
you're welcome. I had a question for Pat while we're on it. How are we doing on salt? Have we managed to restock?
So we did. I'm glad you asked. there are shortages, not only in Pennsylvania, but on the entire east, on the.
I haven't been able to find it. I was actually able to get 2 bags of calcium chlorate at Lowe's last night, and I was like,
You're lucky. But we jumped on that as soon as we caught wind of the salt shortage, and we were able to restock our bins and then some. So,
do you think we have enough space for salts?
So that's a great question. And it's something that, as part of the retooling of the DPW yard, we're going to consider trying to expand so we're not into this situation again, or to try to mitigate that situation.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to Jim while we were out on our ride along, and he was telling me that like it's hard to expand where you guys are right now because of the stream and stuff. You don't want salt running off into the stream. So I just want to make sure you guys have enough space to stock up. Because didn't we run low last year too? I just want to make sure that we've got enough here in town.
We do have enough now.
Yeah.
And I think there are some ways that we can create more volume because we can stack that salt pretty high.
All right.
But I appreciate your concern.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
That. John?
Thank you, Alan. I'll be brief. Not much sewer business to report on. Roundabout, we're in a holding pattern until weather breaks and school lets out. The TASA project, we resubmitted to PennDOT both for handicap ramps and the overall drawings. Hopefully this will be the last time with them. And the TLC walking bridge, we did get our GP 11 permit, and I'm readying plans to put out for bid and advertisement. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Anybody have any questions for John? Nope. Thank you. Leo?
Thank you, Madam President. Briefly also this evening, I forwarded to the board during the meeting a copy of the letter that was referred to on the TDU ordinance. I intend to speak with Jared, Gina, and take a good look at those numbers. I'll respond back to the board. I'll let the attorney know we're looking into his request that we lower the TDU license fee from $2,500 to $500. Over the last week or so, we had a conversation about the existing Pocono Township LRTA ordinance that's sort of just hanging out there. I had them put a motion, if the board is inclined to do so, to advertise an ordinance to repeal the existing LRTA ordinance. I don't know how the board feels about that, but it's more of a cleanup than anything else. This is just hanging out there.
I'll make that motion. Motion to authorize the solicitor to advertise ordinance hearing to repeal ordinance 2025-03 LRTA. Have a second?
I'll second.
I have to abstain due to a conflict of interest. They're a client of mine that's eligible for that.
So Leo, there were amendments made, but this was never repealed. I don't know why I thought this was repealed.
No, the amendment stalled. It was passed originally. Then there was conversation to amend it, and then it just stalled. And I think that, sort of fallen between the cracks.
Okay.
So
There was a motion though to repeal.
Never any authorization to me to do anything about it.
There was a motion to have you draft a new one. I thought I was looking at that agenda. Did you ever draft the new one or?
No, because we never came to terms on what the new one would say.
Okay.
And then in that new one was going to be the repeal of the one that's affected by this motion. But I think as a cleanup item, we need to, if the board's inclined, should repeal that.
Any other discussion? Any public comment? Anybody online? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Velarde.
Yep.
Vice Chair Long,
Yes.
I
President
abstain. I
Gann.
have conflict.
Commissioner Kepler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then subject to any questions, that's all I have this evening.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you, Leo. Anybody have anything for Leo? I did, if anybody has another 15, 20 minutes, have another executive session item, if we could adjourn into that.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I'm here all day.
What about Natasha?
You can call me.
Yeah. we'll
Okay.
call you. And this would be just the commissioners. So,
Okay.
okay.
Madam President,
Is that okay, Leo? I know it's.
no, it's fine with me. That's not a problem. I know there was some correspondence concerning Sylvan Cascade Road. That's something else we'd want to address in executive session,
Oh,
since it could result in potential litigation. I don't know if you want to do that now or wait. I haven't heard back from Mr. Provoznik.
Can we see how quickly the first thing goes?
Well,
Or we have to decide
the
before?
only reason I say that is because John probably should be involved in that, and perhaps maybe Pat.
I'm fine with it. It's the quickest meeting we've had, so
We're just knocking them out.
if the board's okay with it. You okay, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good. Is that okay, Madam President?
yes, then I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn into executive session and we won't be back tonight.
Second.
All those in favor?